Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, Doc and Prof, welcome back Q and Senor October. The NBA lottery has some fans doing their best Lethal Weapon impression of Danny Glover saying, Riggs! Warriors hosting spring practice for the finals. Cavs going cherry picking. And Western and Eastern Conference recap and review, starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome to Debates Among Friends live on YouTube and on Twitch. This is the 54th episode of this podcast on May 17th, 2017. I'm your host, the Professor John Gotti, and always by my side, dropping elbows like he's Mick Foley. It's Doc Ocean. How you doing tonight, sir?
That was perfect. I'm doing pretty good, sir. How about yourself?
Pretty good. I almost went phenomenal forearm right there, but I knew how you would react to that, so, wanted to start off the show on a good foot.
I would have wished I could have muted you, but I can't, so I'll digress.
Shout outs to Chris. Way to hold it down for the company. But, I mean, we have ourselves a stacked show. We have to talk about the NBA. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're here to talk about football, you reached the wrong place tonight. We'll start talking about football perhaps next week. This is the NBA playoffs. We're in the conference finals, and we need the help of some great friends of ours. We have Senior October making his return, breaking through the security barriers.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Not too
Doing
bad,
great, sir.
man. Not too bad. And we also have our good boy Q-Mart. He is on his way, and you'll hear him in a few minutes. But let's catch up with Senior October. What you been up to, sir?
Not too much. Trying not to jump off the roof of my house regarding the NBA draft lottery.
Uh-oh.
Being a Nets fan, it just kind of implies suffering. I mean, I think Nets fans should be.
Hold on. We will get your full reaction in a second, sir, because the people have been screaming all over Twitter and Facebook wanting to know what does Senior October feel about his team getting the ultimate karma, in the words of the doctor last night.
Just a lot of brokenheartedness.
But if
So
I'm ready
Senior
and you're
October
ready,
is broken?
oh no, we're just gonna start the debate. We're just gonna start the debate.
I can't.
Oh, God. He's broken, sir.
So the draft lottery concluded yesterday.
You can't skip him being broken.
We're just
He
gonna
said
keep
it out
going.
loud.
Nope, it's happening. It's done. It's over. Sorry.
Listen, at this point, I don't care because I am broken. Absolutely.
He said it again.
It's been rendered obsolete.
Oh, goodness.
And it's time to fade away from that and classify itself
Hilarious.
as obsolete.
Wow.
Anywho, the NBA draft lottery concluded, and we have the first round standings that we will reveal to you. And we will go from 30 all the way up to number 1. Really quickly. Everyone ready?
I am.
Number
Sure.
30, the Utah Jazz. 29, San Antonio Spurs. 28, LA Lakers. 27, the Brooklyn Nets. 26, Portland Trail Blazers. 25, Orlando Magic. 24, Utah Jazz. 23, Toronto Raptors. 22, the Brooklyn Nets. 21, the OKC Thunder. 20, the Portland Trail Blazers. 19, the Atlanta Hawks. 18, Indiana Pacers. 17, Milwaukee Bucks. 16, the Chicago Bulls. And 15, the Portland Trail Blazers. The lottery results is as follows. Number 14, the Miami Heat. 13, Denver Nuggets. 12, Detroit Basketball Pistons. 11, Charlotte Hornets. 10, the Sacramento Kings. 9, the Dallas Mavericks. 8, your New York Knicks. 7, Minnesota Timberwolves. Number 6, the Orlando Magic. Number 5, the Sacramento Kings. Number 4, the Phoenix Suns. The top 3 who will be selecting in the 2017 NBA Draft. At number 3, it is the Philadelphia 76ers. The pick is from the Sacramento Kings. Number 2 is the LA Lakers. And number 1, from a trade from way back, is from the Brooklyn Nets, is selecting number 1 in the 2017 NBA Draft. The team that is currently in the Eastern Conference Finals, who should be playing right now as we speak, the Boston Celtics.
When you put it like that, it's like, wow.
The Brooklyn Nets should just call themselves the Brooklyn Santa Claus.
The
Just
Brooklyn Santa Claus. I love it.
We're the gift that just keeps on giving.
The gift of the gift of draft lottery charity.
I mean, but you look at it though. I mean, honestly though, they still have 2 picks in the first round, so they probably could really make something happen.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just sucks that this just so happened to be a number 1 overall pick for a team that's literally about to play tonight for the Eastern Conference Finals.
But I mean, that's so the Brooklyn Nets. I don't care if you're talking about the New York Nets, the New Jersey Nets, the Brooklyn Nets. It's the Nets. It's just what they do. Whatever the opposite of, hey, let's make a sound basketball decision. Hey, this sounds like a great idea. They'll do the opposite of.
I can't believe
It's been the entire history of this franchise. You could trace it all the way back to when they traded Dr. J to the 76ers just to be admitted into the NBA and to pay the Knicks territorial rights. It's just how this franchise operates. No long-term thinking, no long-term planning, always for the short-term game.
I don't even remember. Like, I remember them playing there, but it was so short-lived that I completely erased it from my memory.
Absolutely.
Like, of Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett being in New Jersey. Like, I don't even remember that particular. Like, I don't even remember them being there. That's how crazy it is. I don't even remember them being there.
Absolutely. And look like we have Q-Mart on the horn with us tonight. How you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? My bad, man. Skype didn't want me to be great.
Skype always doesn't want me to be great, sir. Every week.
You know, it's okay because here on the show, any technical problems that we have, we blame our technical intern, Chris, who always end up getting the short end of the stick every single week. So we're all just going to blame Chris.
Chris usually is the problem, though, seriously.
Q-Mart, if you missed it, we're talking about the draft lottery right now. We're just talking about the Brooklyn Nets losing the number 1 pick. And Senior October is just airing his grievance about it.
I mean, my thing is just, it just sucks. The timing sucks.
Why you say that?
Because, the Nets are really, really terrible. I mean, they're really, really bad. And to think that years ago, they made a trade for an aging Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and got rid of somebody who I thought, and I could be wrong, I thought Marshawn Brooks was like the next Kobe at the time. I'm not even going to lie. I thought Marshawn Brooks, if developed properly, could have been a great player. But they traded him away, and some other...
Couldn't defend a folding chair.
Hey, that's why I said with some development.
You know what I mean? I honestly, I'm not even upset at the Nets because at the end of the day, no one's winning the East for the next 5 years. Like, you know what I mean? It's Bron territory for the next 4 to 5 years. So at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Not to have to pay a dude max money and know that you're not going to go to the finals. Like, you want to be the Pelicans? Like, you give Anthony Davis $100 and whatever $1 million, you're going to have to give Boogie Cousins and Wild money just to be a 6th seed and then get bounced in the first, second round. At the end of the day, it's actually saving them money probably. Because people come and take game anyway. It's Brooklyn. So it's like the Garden. They're going to make money. So if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, it's really not that terrible because I don't think anybody in this draft is a transcendent talent. Like, you get talent where, like, those guys are good, but, like, there's no LeBron, Tim Duncan, Ewing kind of talent in this draft. So luckily for them, you're not missing out on the next Bron. You know what I mean? Markelle Fultz is going to be good. Ball will be good, but there's nobody in this draft who is like, oh, my God, they changed the course of your franchise the next 10 years.
I think in Brooklyn, anyone, any person, like in anyone, let's think about it. They brought in Jeremy Lin. That was their big splash. Right. I think they signed him for like $36 million, and then he gets hurt, and it's like, all right,
a ripple in a puddle.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, his hair play is bigger than his play.
But you know what? They're not that far off. Their point differential this year was -7. LeBron's plus minus for the year is plus 16. You put Bron in the team, they become a top 3 team in the East. So metrically speaking, even though they won like 20 games, whatever, they're not getting blown out. They're not.
You weren't on the show.
But the thing is, they didn't start putting games together until Lin got back, which was at like the tail end of the season. They at one point had lost 16 in a row. Oh, I mean, and I get what you're saying, that, you know, it may be saving the money in the long run, but you have to remember, like, New Orleans, they're the only team in that market. I'm not saying that the Nets were ever be on the same level as the Knicks. That's like saying the Mets would be on the same level with the Yankees. It'll never happen. It's always gonna be that big brother, little brother. But the thing is, they try. But the thing is, you moved out from the suburbs into the city, and you pounded your chest, did this whole thing about how we're taking New York over. You start insulting the Knicks. You start insulting Dolan, and you start dropping all these little things. And you start making all these little insults, but it just looks completely hollow now. Like, Jay-Z stepped away. Prokhorov really does not have his eye on the ball. I mean, and
he's on the team. Isn't he on the team?
What was that?
He's selling his portion. He's selling his portion of the team, I think.
He's trying to sell his portion, but keep his share into the Barclays Center itself. But the Nets were still in the bottom 3 in the league in attendance. I mean. And I went to about 4 or 5 Nets games. Every game, it seemed like the opposing team's fans were there more than the home fans.
I'm okay with that. I'd like to see these.
But see, the thing is, if you're really trying to compete, if you're trying to really compete for that spotlight, it's only by that the Knicks are as dysfunctional as they are. Because trust me, if the Nets were going through this real low point where it seems like they're going to be there for the next 3 or 4 years, and the Knicks were actually putting something together, oh, forget about it. The Nets, they wouldn't even sniff relevancy. No matter how good they got, they would still be irrelevant if the Knicks were anywhere close to how they were in the 90s. So while they're not the only team, while they're not the only team in the market, and I understand what you're saying, it saves the money. If you're really trying to build a brand and a fan base, they have one of the smallest fan bases in the entire league. So if you're happy with just getting casual fans through the door, that's fine. But when the time comes, when you're good and all of a sudden you're not selling out regular season games, no matter how good you are, because there's not enough diehards of your fan base, it's going to follow.
It doesn't make a difference. I mean, the Knicks are the universal soul circus of basketball.
Exactly.
They're going to be terrible for as long as Dolan is the owner. So when you're in a market with them and they're absolutely that terrible, like, you gotta look at your competition. You know, like, if you're in a class, right, and the guy you're competing with is a D student, you don't have to be that much better than him. If you're a B student, she's gonna like you a little bit more. And so I'm not worried. Like, let's say long term right now. Long term, I'd rather be a Nets fan than Knicks fan. Okay, being a Knicks fan is like being in an abusive relationship, and you just keep on coming. And so,
well, I'll give Sean Mark credit. He's actually trying to undo a lot of the stuff that Billy King did, and he's coming out of the Spurs, so he does have a plan.
I'm a little biased, though, because I'm a Spurs fan, and I always root for Spurs GMs. Everybody that comes out. So Marks is a Spurs guy, and so I trust the process. Now, if you look across the league, right, Philadelphia, head coach, Spurs guy. GM and head coach in Utah, Spurs guys. They're on the rise. You look at Atlanta, Budenholzer, Spurs guy. You look across the league, Presti, Oklahoma City, Spurs guy. I can name a bunch of people who came from the Spurs tree of management, and those teams tend to do well in small markets. Look at Utah, look at the Thunder. Presti is a Spurs guy. Rob Hennigan, who ended up going to the Magic, and he flamed out. He was still a Spurs. Those guys all came from the Spurs umbrella, even Ferry in Atlanta.
Right.
So and those are all markets. Yeah, those are markets that it's not who wants to play in Utah? It's not appealing, but that team is on the rise. So right. I'll give Marks some time. I like Kenny Atkins, and as I said, as a fan, being a Knicks fan, that you're in for a terrible ride. At least the Nets, you know that you're building towards something. Yeah, that trade sucked, but let's say long term, you save some money, you position yourself now, because there's no guarantee his kid's going to be good, right? There's no guarantee.
Without question,
on the draft, they're a buck. You know what I mean? How many Marcus Pfizers are out there, or how many guys that bust in the top 5 Jonathan Benders that were going to change the league and then they bust out Stromile Swifts. I can keep on going. So at the end of the day,
right.
It's an attractive market, right? It's New York's an attractive city. So you're giving yourself options to go on free and say, listen, we're not going to build through the draft. We're building through right now. And all it takes is one guy. All it takes is a Paul George or somebody to buy into your vision. And all of a sudden, you have all this cap space. You have a lot of young talent around you. It could happen. You never know. But I'd rather be a Nets fan over a lot of different franchises, just based on a lot of different things that when you start adding up, what are the Pelicans going to do? You know what I mean? You want to be a Memphis Grizzlies fan? You start going around the league and look at teams. Who do you want? I'd rather be a Nets fan. Let them grow their fan base. They're still, relatively new to the market.
Oh, I completely agree. It's just, coming knowing the entire history of the Nets, this kind of just falls in line with something they do. When I saw last night, I'm not even kidding you, when I saw that when it got down to the last 3, I said, watch, Celtics are going to be the number 1 pick. And because that's just the way it works out for the Nets. That's how it's always worked out. Now, granted, I agree with you. I like Marks. Atkinson seems to have his players' years. They seem to like playing for him. But just for right now, it's just what else would you expect? If it was any other team, that pick would have probably not even been number 1. But because that pick came from the Nets, of course it's going to be number 1 because that's how the Nets have always operated. For 40 years, they've operated this way. I mean, it's the fact that the fact that you literally have only 2 bright spots in an entire franchise's 50-year history. You have, and the one bright spot, they weren't in the NBA at the time. They were in the ABA with Dr. J. Literally from that to then Jason Kidd, you have 25 years of mediocrity and basically going nowhere in between. And since then, it's been the same thing. It's been mediocrity. For me,
franchise.
What was that?
That's 17 franchises in the NBA. I can say the same thing for a lot of franchises. I mean, and this is my theory in all sports, right? There are 6 or 7 teams that really matter. When you go into a season, you go, okay, let's look at football. There are about 6 or 7 teams that win the Super Bowl. In the NBA, it's about 5 or 6 teams that really matter, and nobody else really moves the needle. For example, when you say attendance, Toronto is top 3 in attendance, right? They get 6 national TV games because no one cares about Toronto, right? So for a team that gets top 3 attendance for the past 5 years, right? They have great attendance numbers. They get 6 TNT games for the whole year. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the Nets and most teams are mediocre because the same teams win the championship. Let's look at the NBA. The Celtics have 17, the Lakers have 17, the Bulls have 6, Spurs have 5, and then it's a smattering of 1s and 2s around there, right? 2s, and 3s. So that's most franchises are mediocre. We can say that about the Pistons. We can say that about a lot of franchises. Some franchises might have a longer period of doing well. The Pistons have the 80s to mid 90s. And then they fell off, and they had the Chauncey. But for the most part, if we run through the 50 years, a lot of mediocre teams in the league. You know what I mean? But look at the Milwaukee Bucks; they're walking mediocrity. Okay,
they've won a championship. But they've won a championship.
But they won the championship with Oscar Robertson to Kareem, and then traded Kareem to the Lakers because he threw a temper tantrum and have been mediocre.
Right.
At the end of the day, no matter how good Giannis is, do you really think the Milwaukee Bucks will ever win the championship? No free agents going, hey, I want to go play Milwaukee. That's
I completely agree with you, but I'm literally just basketball-wise, you're absolutely right, but as a fan standpoint, it just falls right in line with exactly what this team has always done.
You're absolutely right.
That's when it happened last night. I just said, yeah, of course it's going to happen that way. That's just our luck. But getting back to what your main point, absolutely. And I've heard other people say it, other Nets fans, and even heard Knicks fans say it. If you had to choose to be a fan of either team, you're absolutely right. Being a fan of the Nets right now, there's way more upside because at least there's a clear path, and you're not going to have this schizophrenic owner or GM just waking up one day saying, "Hey, you know what? I think I'm going to do this," and blowing up your entire team midway through the season.
I'm gonna say this because this is just highly intriguing, but other than just kicking my team down, why it's like pretty far down already. I'm just gonna say, even as a diehard Knicks fan, I've been a Knicks fan since '86. I mean, this year by itself, and I've been on record on this show to say, I've been tempted to switch teams and become like a Rockets fan or something, just because of just how dysfunctional they became within the last 4 or 5 years. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The amounts of rants that I go through just about my franchise by itself is probably a week's worth of podcasts right there.
Yeah.
And the doctor heard majority of them.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. I just think that the problem with the Knicks is that they're trying to skip the process almost. It's almost like, hey, I feel like if we make this move, this is going to get us back into championship contender. But as you said, I mean, really at that time, for the next 10 years, which we didn't know at that time, LeBron was going to be in the finals. So no matter what you did, you can't beat LeBron. You could bring in anybody you want. He goes to Miami, you're losing to Miami. He stays in Cleveland, you're losing to Cleveland. Until LeBron retires, it doesn't really matter. All they could do is position themselves, as you're saying, which makes sense, at a run for after LeBron retires. Then they can collect as many championships as they want until the next person comes and starts dominating for another 10 years. I think that's really it.
It's like when Jordan retired. Everybody finally realized they had a chance because he was retired, but then he came back and they realized the championship was off limits again.
Yeah, poor Carmelo.
Hilarious.
That's all I can say about that. Poor Carmelo.
Honest, those Utah teams have never been that good.
They weren't.
You know what I mean? They never were impressively good. They were just solid teams. They're the kind of guys that beat you in the Y.
Right.
Right.
It's true.
Wow.
Hey, we've been playing together long enough. We know where people's strands.
Right. They were entertaining the watch.
I would say that other than two dominant figures in that franchise,
you look at their rosters,
no one else really stand out. To be that solid number 3 guy. If you think
they had
the '90s Jazz,
they had Jeff
the 2000s
Hornacek. They had Byron Russell. I mean, they had some fours.
All right, let's look at their roster. Right, there's nothing that scares you about Damon Easley. Okay, Antonio Carr coming off the bench is not scary. When you start looking out and you go, okay, we're going to scout them. There's nothing scary about Byron Russell, right? You're more everything was predicated off of Malone in the post and Stockton, Malone pick and roll, and everybody else kind of got shots off of that. Yep. Because in that league, they had a bunch of physical big guys that had 6 fouls. You had Ostertag, he had 6 hard ones. Carr has 6 hard ones. Malone. So you have a team that plays a physical brand of basketball, one of the best post players, and on the other, they were getting shots created by Stockton. But I just laughed because that wasn't really a great team. They were just smart.
Yeah. I would say that it was more from the coach.
They have 2 Hall of Famers. Everybody else you forgot about.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was more from just the coach itself than the actual talent itself. Because if you look at it from a talent standpoint, I mean, would you see them actually going into the finals? Not really.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they gave the Bulls trouble, but at the end of the day, I think that league is different because it's a more physical league. So I can get into you a little. I can play physical, and I have 4 or 5 guys on the bench who have 6 hard fouls, and we play a physical brand. We grind you out, and then playing in Utah with the altitude, it's a recipe for guys to do well in that era. But as you can see, Jordan got them out of there both times.
Yes.
So it wasn't like they gave him too much trouble.
This is true.
But
let's stay on track with the lottery. Let's talk about the top 3 picks and who will be the potential picks for each team. Who do we have going number 1 right now?
The guy has to be Markel. has to be Markel. I don't think there's another option to go.
I mean, my main thing with them going Fultz is that, I mean, you still have they have a lot of guards. I mean, they've drafted so many people, and that's the only thing I worry about with the Celtics having that number one pick is that it seems as though, except for Marcus Smart, they're not really using those other draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, just thinking about the other people that they have, and I mean, obviously those guys weren't like super duper studs or anything, but I mean, they're not using those guys at all.
Who are they not using?
Like, what's a kid from Kentucky?
James Young.
Yeah, Young.
James.
They got. I mean, remember they cut R.J. Hunter on his birthday. I mean, they're not using a lot of those guys. Yeah, you remember that they cut R.J. on his birthday. I mean, a lot of these guys just fall to the bottom of their bench. I mean, obviously if he's gonna be number one pick, they're gonna give him a shot. But I mean, who do they push out of the rotation? Does Rozier get pushed out of the rotation? You know what I mean?
I don't think anybody gets pushed. I think they have to make a trade. You know what I mean? It's not about anybody getting pushed. It's about guys becoming more expendable. I mean, either this. At the end of the day, they had the option to trade the number one pick, and they'll still have free agent money. So, but the main problem comes in, right? You have this option where you can trade the pick and get somebody, and then sign somebody. But they don't need two wings. Like, right? You can go sign Gordon Hayward for trade for Jimmy Butler or something like that, but then you don't need either one of them. Like, you need one or the other. You can't really go both. Yeah. Do you trade for the center? Like, you know, do they go? We'll get first.
Wait, hold on, Rob. What did you just do, Rob? Rob. It's in your October. Are you?
What was that?
Right now? It's in your October. Are you robbing us right now?
No, what's up?
What did you just do? Senior October.
Senior October class.
Are you robbing us right now?
Senior October is always at work. He's always down there being our beat writer, trying to get stories.
Sound like he was out there in the helicopter.
My bad, guys. Sorry, I was in the car. Keep going. I'll put it on mute.
Okay.
I think it might be a trap.
Oh my goodness! He's over here trying to get October, the word from the Brooklyn Nets fan base.
Got me off script.
My bad, guys. Sorry about that.
Oh god, just robbing us.
I see what you did there. There, sir.
I tried to, come around full circle here. Mm-hmm. But let's go back to it. So you said they need to get in a better position to trade. But I mean, obviously, I hate that Gordon Hayward partners though. I hate that Gordon Hayward would leave the Jazz, but I understand why he would leave the Jazz.
I mean, we have three solid players who want to leave their teams right now. We have Gordon Hayward. We have Jimmy Butler, who wants to run out of Chicago. We also have Paul George. And so far, according to many of the NBA analysts, they'd rather see Jimmy Butler, or maybe even Paul George going to Boston than Gordon Hayward.
Yeah,
so,
but I think
they could sign Gordon Hayward, but I mean. Yeah, they could do a trade, but who's really gonna trade for it? Like, what team's gonna give something up for it?
I think the Bulls. The Bulls definitely have some soul searching to do this offseason. Wade has the opt-out clause. Are they gonna re-sign? They can decide to fully blow everything out and trade Butler and say, hey, let's go back to the board. Mirotic is a free agent. He's a restricted free agent. So they have some options. I think that for Boston again, they can't afford to get two wing players. So if they trade this pick, it becomes more of them saying, all right, maybe we package Marcus Smart, Rozier, and somebody else to get Okafor and from off of Philadelphia, because now you pair Okafor, Horford, you get a Hayward or somebody else, and now you have something. Because their backcourt's still small. Avery Bradley's like 6'2".
He is.
You got 5'9". So it's like at the end of the day, you can bring in two wing guys, right? At the end, or you can bring in a guy like Hayward and then bring Avery off the bench, and Avery basically will replace Smart. You know what I mean? He'll first place in the rotation, and now it's the same difference, right? But now you actually have two bigs. You have Okafor and Harford, and then you have Crowder, Hayward, and then you can play small ball. Or you can move those guys up and put Avery in, and now you have Harford at the 5. You can go Crowder at the 4, Hayward at the 3. Avery. So it gives them more flexibility. But I think the first chip would come if they can move to get it. No one's looking at their phone when he calls and goes, "Hey, I want to talk to this guy." Okay, because like he basically robbed the Mavericks, got Crowder. He robbed that deal with what was it, Milwaukee and Phoenix and Philadelphia to get it. And then the Nets trade. So I don't think any GM is really ready to answer his phone call and have a real conversation with him yet. But I can see Chicago is blowing up.
I mean, but that number one pick
first of all,
is
Chicago
pretty...
needs to go to New Orleans and go to a witch doctor because they need something further than just regular prayer because they are just so like, and that's talking as a Knicks fan, by the way. But I mean, let's look at it like as a GM real quickly. Would you rather keep Smart or would you rather keep Bradley in the long run?
I'd rather keep Bradley. Marcus Smart is the epitome of your level doesn't translate. Like there are certain guys in high school who score 30 points a game. They get to college, they can't score 10. Right. Marcus Smart in college averaged like 25 points a game. Yeah. He gets to the NBA, he can barely score 11 points. He's a terrible 3-point shooter. He's a very low average free throw shooter for a guard. He's a great defensive dog and a hustle guy. But at the end of the day, I mean, you look at the close games, 1 for 5 from the line, 2 for 4. He's not, so you can't really trust him with the ball. He's not really an elite scorer. I can always find a hustle guy. I can always find a guy, a Jay Crowder somewhere. I always find that. Avery Bradley's a little bit more polished offensively, not as physical. But I'd rather have Bradley. I mean, because he's a little bit more polished, and you saw there's games where he can give you 25, 29 points. Those little outbursts help to win series. Without him doing that, they don't beat Washington. You know what I mean? Sure. But they can beat Washington without Marcus Smart.
So let's think about this. I mean, obviously they had the first round pick. They need, they're probably going to lose to the Cavs. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully they make it competitive. But I just feel like the fatigue factor, which is also playing in the Western Conference, is also going to play in the Eastern Conference. But 4 guys I could come up the top of my head. Obviously, not all 4 of them are worth a first-round pick or first overall pick. But, I mean, who would get the edge in this situation if we're talking about, let's say, Paul George, Gordon Hayward, Jimmy Butler, and let's just for fun, given that the Knicks have been such a topic of discussion, let's throw in Carmelo. I mean, who would really be worth a first-round pick? I mean, in this situation,
trade the number 1 pick,
right? Who would you package that for?
I would be more inclined to go Butler, Hayward,
Jordan,
then Paul. I wouldn't trade my sneakers I have on right now for Carmelo Anthony. That's just me. I
agree with you.
For Melo,
who's 32, bad knee. That does nothing for me. And he's going through a divorce right now, so he has that beard. I don't want anything to do with him. You got too much going on with yourself. You got to talk to yourself about that. Go get a haircut, a shape up first, and we can maybe talk about. But like nobody, he's 32 with bad knees, a lot of mileage on him. He's an underrated passer, but he's not a great passer. And in that Boston system, you got to move the ball. It's not
the Knicks. What if the Knicks were willing to part ways with Porzingis?
That's probably a Knicks thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they did because that's the Knicks. He's definitely worth it, especially in that system because you can move Harford to the 5.
Chris, the doctor is on warning right now.
Be happy there.
The doctor's on warning right now. He's about to get muted real fast.
I knew he was going to do that.
Breaking an old man's heart over here. Doctor, please.
But I mean, obviously, Porzingis is unhappy. Think about the Knicks. When the last time the Knicks had the first overall pick and a top 10 pick that they actually can bring in a guard to replace all those terrible guards, and they're going to need somebody to replace Derrick Rose. That's $20 million. Maybe they can go ahead and try to swing one of these other guys. I mean, bring in 2 top 10 picks. I mean,
that's not. And at the end of the day, again, Kristaps is a transcendental talent. I don't think you trade him for a number 1 pick. I don't think that makes your franchise better.
I was just giving the professor some gray hairs.
I think you know what's crazy. What the crazy part about it is that the Knicks picking 8th is actually probably the best thing for them.
It is
because they're not forced to outthink themselves. They can just take the best player available because
hopefully
Knicks
it's a point guard.
As long as it's not like Jordan Hill again.
Oh God. It won't be. I think they got to draft a point guard or somebody.
Didn't they pick Porzingis at the 8th seed last year too?
No, the 4.
Porzingis was 4.
The 4, okay. But
I believe the other one was Danilo Gallinari, who I really enjoyed when he played for the Knicks.
I did too.
Which I was highly upset when they traded him.
That's another thing. That trade for Melo. If you're gonna talk about trades setting a franchise back, I would have never traded for a guy who could sign a free agency.
I'm gonna mute myself because I know what I go through whenever I hear that subject again. So I'm just gonna.
Well, let's think about it like this. I mean, I don't want to get back onto the Knicks because I mean we can definitely talk about the Knicks. I mean for
Please
life.
Don't. Please
yeah,
don't.
that's what I'm saying.
Let's just
I mean
keep going,
we got 2 other teams here. Obviously, the Lakers, the Ball family. Obviously, the Ball family seems that the Lakers are going to pick him. You know, I read an article earlier that said Magic's not sold on him. But I mean, who do they pick here? Do they?
Well,
do they
before
go?
we get there, let's talk about the real elephant in the room. You know, LeVar Ball is talking about the only team that his son's going to be working out for is the Lakers. Like, let's just talk about this real quickly. What's everyone thoughts about that?
Coming off the NFL draft, I mean, there were some teams there were some players where teams called, and they said no. I mean, that seems to be a new thing. I mean, I don't know about him not working out for anybody else.
That's amazing. That's great. That's great marketing.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
he's going to be speaking to distance. He's going to be. That's what's going to happen. He's going to the number 2 media market in the country.
Yep.
His brand that spikes to a crazy rate. He's a hometown kid. He's a facilitator on a team that needs somebody to facilitate. I think that D'Angelo Russell is a better 2 guard, but he's not athletic.
He's already on the trade block. He's there. He's on the trade block.
He's on the trade block since he snitched.
Oh goodness!
I mean, what kills him is his lack of athleticism. He's a skilled guy. I watch a lot of Lakers games. He doesn't make plays for others, and so that's the problem. And at the point guard, you replace him with LeVar Ball, and you go, okay, Julius Randle automatically gets better because he makes his teammates better. LeVar Ball's not coming into a team, and that's why he has to go. If he doesn't go to the Lakers, which I'm 99% sure. He goes to Philly where they get crazy good because now you have a point guard from the Jason Kidd cloth who's going to give you 11 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds, and he's not the greatest defender, but he gets guys involved. When you have a point guard that distributes, that makes guys run. That makes guys cut harder. That makes guys
play defense though.
Pick the ball.
But who has to play defense when you got 5, 6, 9 and up guys behind you somewhere? Because everybody else is like 6'8", 6'9". You got 7'3", what's the name, Embiid, 6'11", Okafor. Ben Simmons is back there somewhere waving his arms.
Yep.
And whoever their shooting guard is.
Yeah, and that's also partly, I think, why the Philadelphia doesn't need ball. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of their offense runs with Simmons being the point forward.
Right.
And that kind of takes away from Simmons' game because realistically he can't really shoot. So him being much better, his passing ability and ability to go off the dribble is what makes him dangerous. You take the ball out of his hands, he's another 7-foot guy who can't shoot. So now he becomes more of an offensive lineman. He needs the ball in his hands. So they probably need more of an athletic 2 guard, which is basically hard for them to reach. You know what I mean? Because now you're reaching. Because I don't see a athlete. I mean, they go Josh Jackson, but to me, he's a number 3 kind of player in the NBA. He's like a low budget Jimmy Butler.
And of course, you have.
So you know what I mean? It's tough for them because they don't really need nothing. What's that?
I was about to say. Of course, I've heard. Of course, Malik Monk going number 3. Of course, to the Sixers.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not a bad pick.
It's a reach.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the Sixers can look to trade back if they can to get some assets. If they could trade back, like a team like Phoenix, they could sniff out Phoenix once, and they could get a player from Phoenix to trade back. That helps them. You know what I mean? A rotational guy. Even honestly, be honest with you, it's a point guard like a Dennis Jr. In love with a guy. They have the pick. They have the Lakers first round next year. If they can get a guy like a Bledsoe, or you know what I mean, or be able to, if they feel comfortable enough to get Drew Holiday in free agency, they don't really need another point guard. They can go get a point guard. Ricky Rubio. I think Ricky Rubio to me is the most underrated asset, not because of his skill set, because he has to get paid. He's getting paid like 13, 14 mil, which is like dirt cheap in this NBA.
True.
Right? And Minnesota wants to move him. Like they badly want to move him. So it's like, yo, you can get a point guard. So for them, I think it's about getting a 2 or a 3. But the only problem with that is now you have to trade one of the bigs, because now you have Saric, you have Embiid, you have Simmons. You know what I mean? You have a lot of bigs, and Okafor. Okafor has to go to open up minutes, so you can, if they do go with Tatum or Jackson or a bigger wing, they have enough room to play them. So they have options.
Just one thing, I guess, before we move on to the next topic. But what if the 76ers can swing a Kyle Lowry?
I had this argument with somebody. Mm-hmm. I don't see Kyle Lowry leaving Toronto for Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Okay, so and that's if Toronto offers him a max deal. There's no way you turn down the extra $50 million to leave Toronto, where there are exotic, lusty women and a phenomenal footy, to go to dusty Philadelphia, where there's dudes with no shape-ups and beards. Like, that just doesn't make sense. The crime rate, the tax rate, there's a lot of things that just don't add up there. There's a bunch of East African women who look very phenomenal. I go on Instagram and post them every day. And it just makes me wonder why Toronto doesn't get enough love as a city. But I would never want to go to dusty-ass Philadelphia over Toronto and lose $50 million. It makes no sense. But if he does, man, bless him.
Even though what we do is wrong.
That's funny.
All right, let's throw out one more name, then we're moving on without question. Obviously, he's had a rough career, but maybe he needs a new start. The Philadelphia 76ers take a gamble on Derrick Rose.
Why?
I was just about to say why.
Why? I just want to know why.
I don't know. I don't know why people take gambles on Derrick Rose, but it seems to be a gamble that people are willing to take.
I feel like this is a recurring theme tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like the doctor is just trolling me, trying to get me to say things that I can't say on the air, because Helen is staring at me already, because she sees the look on my face.
Troll level 1,000.
It's almost over 9,000. That's all I got to say.
My God.
Derrick Rose isn't getting a phone call from an NBA team until August, okay? Once free agency strikes out, he'll get a call. No one's courting Derrick Rose. Okay,
if not free agency, definitely waiver wire.
No, he's going to get a call during the period, but it's not going to be for the month of July. Like, I don't see him. He's a C- JUCO student. No college is running to sign him. Hey, come to our school, we'll give you money. Like, nobody's running to sign Derrick Rose, right? It's going to be like, oh, we didn't get the first 7 point guards we wanted, so we'll give Derrick Rose a call. Okay. You know, Derrick Rose is the chick you call at 3 a.m. after you try to hit up every other chick that you know. Like, you Facebook message, you Instagram the chick, you even DM the chick on Snapchat. They all didn't answer, then you hit that. Yeah. So New Orleans might go after them if they don't get anybody, right? It's August. They look at their point guard situation and go, you know what? Let's just bring him in.
Oh, Kmart Plus.
He's not getting a long-term deal.
Favor the plus.
He's not going to get a long-term deal. He's definitely going to get veterans minimum.
Yeah, I don't know. He might still get paid. He's not going to get the $20 million he's asking for, but he might still get paid.
I don't know why he thinks that he's still worth $20 million.
Because some teams is going to be desperate enough to pay him.
I don't think everybody's going to be desperate. I think that you have to realize your market. His market now in this NBA, when you look across, if we go through teams and go, okay, well, who needs a Derrick Rose? And we run through the East. Like, again, it comes down to your demand. The market for demand for him. We're in a league right now where there's so many point guards, and then this draft is so point guard heavy.
Yep.
Right. So now his market. You're talking about we're at this draft will probably add 4 to 5 point guards to the NBA market.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
On top of the fact that it's already. What team is going to say, "Hey, Derek, we need you"? Like what? I can see him being a backup point guard in the Pacers. It's kind of close to Chicago. Jeff Teague doesn't have the best health history. Like he could end up being a backup on the Pacers. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Derrick Rose is getting 24 minutes with the Pacers because they're just a terrible franchise and they'll waste a 2-year, $20 million contract on him and give him a team option. Like he'll get like 9 to 10 off his name. Like you know what I mean? Like, but like I don't see a team like you go through the league. All right, the Pistons aren't going to sign. You start running through teams like nobody's irked to sign him. Like oh my God, we have to get him. He becomes a cautionary tale. He becomes an insurance policy. We're not comfortable at point guard. We have a young point guard. You know what I mean? So you wait for those teams to look through summer league. You have to wait. So basically, you have to wait all through July because I'm a GM. I want to see summer league and how these guys are playing, how my younger guys look before I make a decision on bringing a veteran in. You know, and maybe an injury or something happens. You know, but I don't think I think he's not going to get signed to August. He's going to be floating out there for a minute.
Gotcha.
I could definitely see an injury playing a huge role in him getting signed with the team. But if not that, I still stand firm. I think he's definitely going to be a waiver wire team. Like, he's just going to be out there, and it's going to be like mid-season, heading towards the playoffs. A playoff team that's a competitor, needs a point guard. Cavaliers needs a point guard, and, you know, they need the veteran leadership, and they'll just sign him on because he's dirt cheap now.
He can't shoot. He can't shoot.
He can only drop the lane.
He can only drive the lane.
Yeah, I mean he'll be that guy that's like the girl at the end of the bar when you're waiting to go home at night and you're like, all right, I guess I'll take her. I mean that's basically what it's going to be. Yeah, it's gonna come down to a team needing him out of an emergency for him to get signed.
He's 3 a.m. salary. That's who he is. Okay, you call salary.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my. So, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, for those that don't know, this is a St. Peter's University reunion right here tonight.
It is, yeah. It is. Which
Peacocks all day.
Yeah. All right, so, I mean, obviously we've been on the lottery conversation for a while. Definitely need to move on to the Western Conference, as well as the Western Conference Finals that we're in right now. So right now, I mean, it's looking like practice out there, as the last 2 series did. The first game, obviously, you know, Spurs came out and punched them in the mouth, but this last game, it really looked like the Warriors are firing all cylinders, and it's looking pretty ugly out there. Will the Warriors sweep the Spurs?
I'm a Spurs fan. I'm gonna say yes.
Now
he had a quick look on his face too. He's like, I don't want to say this.
I hate it.
But no, I don't hate it because at the end of the day, as a Spurs fan, you have to be realistic, right? Coming into this series, I figured we might be able to steal game 1 because they're on cruise control, and without the quiet injury, we steal game 1. We lose in 5 games. That team, the Warriors team right now, is too talented.
Yeah,
they create too many matchup nightmares. And we're old, we're slow, and we still won 60 some odd games with the roster we have. And you know what I mean? And knowing myself as a fan, yeah, do you want to go to the finals? But I knew what our ceiling was, Western Conference Finals. I knew what that was. We're gonna get there. And at the end of the day, that game woke them up. Like, you know what I mean? They're on cruise control. They swept the first 2 series. They're feeling good. The Spurs are coming off a good game where we blew out Houston, so the momentum was kind of on our side. Sometimes it actually helps to play into a series.
Yeah. No, I mean, and you know, we're going to go and look into the Western Conference, of course. We'll go over my Houston Rockets and see what my thoughts are on that. But, I mean, obviously, I really think it's all fatigue. I mean, the Rockets are tired. I think the Spurs, you can kind of see it, are tired. I've seen LaMarcus Aldridge starting to pull out that old Dwight Howard hook shot, and I'm just like, please stop it. Stop it right now.
He's not meant to prepare for these moments.
He's not.
And that's not, and I keep on trying to tell people, man, it's a job. Some people aren't prepared for certain jobs. You ever go in an interview and you tell them everything that's great about yourself, and then when you get the job, you realize, I'm underqualified for this. I need help. And so I think that, it looked good at the time. And being a Spurs fan, I figured he would be able to change his game, but because he scored 45% of his points just or straight out of ISO. So everything he did in Portland was at ISO. So to come into a offense that's a ball movement offense that's going to actually play more defense. Let's be real. In Portland, listen, LaMarcus, just don't let your guy score 30.
Right.
He can go for 20 and 10, and LaMarcus will go for 25 and 12, and they'll win 48 games and get bumped in the first, second round. It's their reputation, and he's on the contract. But the good thing about it is that because the way the salary cap is, he's not really paid that much. I think he's making like $20 million a year, so it's not crazy. It's not crazy to be a second or third guy that's making 20.
Yeah.
But even so, I don't think we're fatigued. I think they're a better team. Like I don't think we could have swept our first two series, but we still get our ass kicked just because they're a better team than us. That you know what I mean? When you have three, let's say you have 4 of the top 15 basketball players on the planet, you're gonna win. Like that's just gonna happen. We're all waiting for Cleveland and Golden State. That's what we're all here for. That.
Gotcha.
we know what it was.
Gotcha. Rob, anything?
In regards to Aldridge, I mean, the thing that you get frustrated with him is that he's trying to back down guys that are even like smaller than him. You know, so you got a guy that he's that big and he doesn't even really have to jump to touch the rim. But like you were saying, is he really ready to work? Or did he think he could just turn around and just like he was going to be able to put the ball in the basket, no problem, and there was going to be really no resistance? So with San Antonio, I mean, you hit it on all points. The Warriors, they look like they were just waiting to turn it on, and now it looks like they're. It's almost like they're awake. They're like, oh, okay, now we're going to play for real now. And I mean, how many points did Curry and Durant put up together? Like 70 the other night or something?
Yeah, I think Curry had 34 and Durant had 40, or vice versa.
Something like that.
Yeah. Curry had about 30 something. Yeah.
Curry had 40. I think Durant had 34.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like how do you even if 2 guys out of the starting 5 can do that to you? It's tough. It's tough to stop. It's like trying to hold back. It's like trying to hold back an avalanche at some point.
The scary part is in the game 1 when they did that, Klay Thompson had a terrible game. He had 6 points. So it's like, all right, exactly. What about the night when Klay's hot and Klay has 14 or 15 points? The one thing as a Spurs fan, this is why I'm excited. Making it to the Western Conference Finals means that we can sell winning to free agents. That means we can go to Gordon Hayward and say, hey, Gordon, if you really care about winning, right? If you really care about winning, do you really want to play Bron in the East? Or we can go to Chris Paul or Kyle Lowry and go, hey, you guys are perennial losers. Okay, Chris Paul, you've never made it past the second round. Right, you're 31 years old, and at the end, do you want to go back to Los Angeles, win 53 games, and lose in second round every year for the next 4 years? Like, we can sell the winning aspect to some free agents. Right. I'm huge on Mirotic. I think as a Spurs fan, if I could rally up fans and get picket signs and sign Mirotic, 3 year, $30 million deal. He's the perfect guy for our system. 6'10", he can move, he can shoot, he can defend a little bit. I'm in love with him. I think him coming to our team, if we're able to get him in free agency, I'll be happy with Lowry and Mirotic, Paul and Mirotic, even Hayward, getting 2 guys because then it gives us the flexibility to go small. We can play Mirotic in the center, we can play Kawhi, or we can play 4-3. I think we need to get younger. We need to spend some money. We never do. And I think because we made it this far, it helps us sell winning to other guys.
And let me ask you this.
But that's the entire Spurs. That's the entire Spurs organization. I mean, they're just wrapped up in that cloth of winning. I mean, the San Antonio Spurs are synonymous with winning. So, even if you didn't make it to the Western Finals, I don't think it would be that hard to sell.
Sure. Let
me ask you this though. I mean,
it was hard to sell it to Durant because they beat us in the second round last year. True. I think if we beat the Thunder, I think Durant might be a Spur this year. Because
I don't know. I think we feel like he wanted to go to the Warriors. I think he already had. I think it was preset.
I see what you did there, Kimar. I see what you just did there.
It was preset. He was going to the Warriors. Come on.
Like, we beat them in the second round in 5 or 6 games last year. If we beat them, now we can, hey, K, we beat you. We beat you the past couple years, fam. Like, come through. But the fact that he beat us, and now he's looking at the Warriors, now the Warriors become the team that can sell winning to him.
Yeah.
Because the Warriors been to 2 years in a row.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because, I mean, you mentioned bringing in Mirotic, which I'm not really a big fan. Every time I watch him play, he bricks so much. But Would you be done with Paul Gasol?
No, I think Pau Gasol fits the Tim Duncan role. You can't play 15 and 20 minutes. 15, 20 seconds. I think the thing about Mirotic is in this league right now that we're going into a versatility league where you can play different lineups. I think the thing about Mirotic is that the Bulls did the same thing with Jimmy Butler, and this is what got Tibbs fired. They said Jimmy Butler's going to be a free agent. We don't want to play him a lot of minutes. We don't need him getting a lot of stats because we're going to have to pay him. So we want you to keep his minutes down. And Tibbs is a winner. Tibbs said, I'm not doing that. And Tibbs played him 39 minutes a game, 37. And Butler had crazier than they had to pay Butler.
Yeah. Now, what?
The same thing with Hoiberg. The difference was Hoiberg was compliant. Hoiberg said, I'm gonna not play him that much because what happens is in that offense you need a shooter. You have DeBray, Wade, Rondo. You have all those guys. Now that Bulls team that was giving the Celtics problems, who was starting Mirotic. That Bulls team that started that made Mirotic was playing more throughout the year. They kept on slopping. And we'll love him in San Antonio.
I mean, what about the Lithuanian kid that they talked about last night? I think he's a rookie. I mean,
Burton's can shoot.
Yeah,
I'm saying. I mean, he's a power forward center. I mean, you bring in Mirotic.
He can play the three.
You got Dedmon. You got Simmons. I mean, I feel like bringing in Mirotic might be a little rough. Unless you're getting rid of Dedmon.
Because if anyone can make that happen, it's Pops. Pops can make something like that happen.
Yeah, no one
well.
Yeah, somebody's got to go.
No one cares about Dwayne Dedmon. And no one's worried about that. I think that the Burton's kid is strictly a shooter. So at the end of the day, if you have a guy like Mirotic and Burton, right? Let's just look at the offense. I can play Mirotic and Burton at the same time. So now you got Mirotic, Burton, Mills, Simmons, and Kawhi on the court. You know how much space that creates for Kawhi when you have four guys who can shoot? What are you going to do? You can't double Kawhi now. So what are you going to do with the pick and pop?
That's a low-level version of the Warriors.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You want to create a cheaper version of a team. Mirotic, because he had a bad year, is going to be cheap. You know what I mean? He didn't play well this year, so he's the perfect guy for us to go give a 3-year deal to for $24 million or $30 million. A guy we could plug in for 22, 24 minutes a game. That's going to be able to accumulate stats fast. If you look at his minutes, his per 36, the guy kills. Like when he gets serious, I mean, he does everything. He fits the style. He's a European player who fits our style of play. He doesn't. We create shots for Mills off the dribble, pick and pop, recreate shots off of ball movement. So it's like when that ball moves and Mirotic is in the corner, that's money all day long. I'll take that.
Absolutely.
So it's like you got to look at the league. We're not going to get the sexy guys. We have to get the guys who are undervalued.
Gotcha. All right. So looking at the Western Conference, obviously we're going to go backwards. From the Spurs. We talked about the Warriors, obviously, continuing to dominate. We just talked about the Spurs, so I guess we'll go back to the Houston Rockets. We'll go to the Houston Rockets. That's cool. And honestly, I'm kind of lost. I don't really know what we could even possibly do. I think we might have $10 million worth of cap. If the cap goes up, maybe $11 million, some potential dead money somewhere that they'll figure out what to do or get. I mean, only way I could see anything moving is if Ryan Anderson takes a pay cut. He's the only person that I could think of that would take a pay cut, but I highly doubt that happens. So I
wasted money.
Yeah, unless somebody says, "Hey, we want to trade for Ryan Anderson," I don't really see us doing anything major. I think we have 2 second-round picks that we might be able to swing and pitch for a late first-round pick. But other than that, I see us staying put and being third or fourth in the West, I guess, because that's all we got. Obviously you got Sam Decker who could clearly get better. You got some young guys that could get better. But we're gonna probably have to replace Nene. I don't know if Nene's coming back. He might be done. And that's really it.
I mean, at the end of the day, you guys can go get Al Jefferson, and he can be Nene, and you guys will be fine. There you go.
That's
Problem
true.
solved. Go get Al Jeff. Let him be like you guys are fine. You got Sam Decker. You got some young guys in the D League that can play.
Yeah.
You're able to keep. I don't know. Is Lou Will a free agent this summer? I don't know if he's.
No,
still
we have one more year with. Really, we got one more year with everybody.
Yeah, I think you guys are fine. I think the biggest thing for you guys as a team is going to be Clint Capella's development. I think if Capella, if he adds to his game, he makes you guys much more dangerous. The shooters are there. I mean, look at the team. Okay, Eric Gordon, Lou Will, Aaron Anderson, Ariza. So the shooters are there. I don't think you need to add anything. I think at the end of the day, you just need development. You got to develop Sam Decker because he's a guy who can play 4-3-2. And
right.
that makes a big difference when you're able to throw him and Ariza out there to defend the wings. And that, again, it's all about, to me, the NBA is all about lineup diversity. What makes the Warriors so dangerous is that they can throw so many different lineups at you. You can throw a lineup where KD plays center. They can throw a lineup where KD plays a 3. They can throw a lineup where Draymond lines up. So that lineup diversity where now they're going on runs, like an 18-0 run with a different lineup. You know what I mean? That's what changes the game because when you're able to give me different looks, how you defend it. And that's what LeBron did. LeBron said, I need to go get more shoot. I need lineup diversity. So I need a lineup where I need all 6'8" guys. So you have a lineup where you have LeBron, you have Korver, you have JR, Shump, and Kyrie. And that lineup is dangerous because once they get the rebound, what you going to do? They're going.
You can't do. They're already at the rim on the other side.
If you double.
So, I mean, as far as Houston goes, I mean, that was pretty much all, I could see. Again, if we did do anything, it would just be bringing another backup center, which we could draft. We do have a kid on the D League, Kyle Witcher, who I think played at Kentucky and Gonzaga, who I think is another perimeter shooter. I think he's really, really good personally, but that's neither here nor there. But continuing to move on.
Let's talk about the Utah Jazz next.
Yeah, the Utah Jazz. Obviously, they might lose Gordon Hayward. Do they make a push for the other guys? The Gordon Haywoods, not the Gordon Haywoods, I'm sorry. The Jimmy Butlers. Yeah, the Paul George. Or maybe they call Carmelo.
Nah, it's Utah. No one wants to go to Utah. That's just
absolutely not.
There's nothing sexual about that city. Okay, there's nothing that says I want to go to Utah, right? At all. They're just who they are, and they'll make do with what they have. And so unless they make a trade where they're moving favors, but he's been injured all year, so he needs to get healthy. They're gonna be Utah. They're gonna be if they lose Hayward, they'll probably be a 7 or 8 seed next year. They'll still play quality basketball.
Well, if they lose Hayward, rumor has it they lose George Hill.
That's fine. What does George Hill has had like a great efficient year, but there's nothing scary about George Hill, right? Like I think that there's nothing scary about somebody averaging 15 points and 4 assists. Like I can find that. Like I can get somebody up in D League who can do that with enough minutes. Like George Hill is a solid point guard, but in the West, let's be realistic. Like they just want to make the playoffs. Like Utah's not winning the championship. So
no, the bar for them is set to just make the playoffs. They don't have anything. They don't have any aspirations beyond that. Yeah,
like they're just happy getting the extra 8 games. Okay, they were ecstatic. They got extra revenue for like 5 more home games this year. Okay, that's their cap.
Gotcha. How about the moving forward now? A team that we all love and hope good things happen to. The LA Clippers. I mean,
it's about time they need to get disbanded completely. This core group just hasn't been able to, get over that hump. It's year in, year out. They're either a first round knockout or they're a second round knockout. And
I'm a big fan of www.firedoc.com.
Not fire Doc Rivers. What you do is the problem with Doc is this: you gave Doc his cake and let him have his and eat it too, right?
Yeah.
Doc, either you're the head coach
or the GM,
or you're the personnel GM guy.
Yeah.
Same thing with Tibbs. I don't know how Tibbs swing that. I don't understand as a coach. Same thing with Budenholzer in Atlanta. They just got a GM this year. I think Wilcox or somebody. Like you have to, as a head coach in NBA, you can't do both.
It's tough.
think you fired Doc. I think Doc's a little bit overrated now. I think it's different when you don't have 3 Hall of Famers and the Boston. I think Doc is still a top 5, top 7 coach in the NBA X and O wise. But I just think there's young guys on his ass. Excuse my language. So I think like a guy like Spoelstra, underrated coach. If we're talking actually Brad Stevens, Hop. I mean, you start running through, like, I'm a huge Quinn Snyder guy, great X and O guy. When you start watching film and seeing coaches actually coach, I think Terry Stotts in Portland, great X and O guy. I love the stuff he runs. A lot of flare screens, a lot of high post stuff. Mike Malone is by far my favorite non-Spur coach. I love Mike Malone. Yeah, I'll actually watch his post-game interviews because he's so honest. But if you watch Mike Malone and you watch what Portland did, all Stotts did when he traded for Nurkic was basically run the same offense they ran in Denver, except for his backcourt's better. You know what I mean? Like basically, we're gonna run a lot of stuff, and that all stemmed from Memphis with Marc Gasol and making the center who can pass the playmaker. So at the end of the day, I still have to give credit to Lionel Hollins and just a lot of different stuff. But I think they don't need to disband the team. I think they need to like literally just fire everybody in the organization if they're going to do that. Like, let's get rid of Doc. Let's get rid of everybody. But if that's the case, let's keep Blake. You're already invested. Let's keep DeAndre. I think you let Chris Paul and Redick walk and go get Young. Take that money that you're going to spend on Chris Paul and then go get a small forward. Go get a comparable point guard. Like, they can get a Drew Holiday for cheap. They can go get another shooting guard. They can go forward and put it around Dwight. Put it around Blake Griffin and DeAndre. But having Chris Paul pound the rock for another 4 years at $30 million, I don't want that.
Yeah,
but they're gonna have to.
That's a good idea. All right, so I mean, obviously, keeping the truck moving.
Wait, there's a truck?
Yeah, it's a truck, and his name is Russell Westbrook, the Mr. Triple Double himself, the Oklahoma City Thunder. What do they need to do
to get over the hump? First of all, let's just talk about the real,
Mr.
issue
Triple Double.
Mr. Triple Double. Will he become the MVP this year?
Somebody said co-MVP to me, and I was like, sure.
He's going to win MVP this year. He's going to win it, and
MVP.
We live in a very that shiny society. So he's going to win MVP. No one wants to play in Oklahoma City, right? That's the first thing. But then no one wants to go to Oklahoma City and to the West.
Unless you're from there.
Or you don't mind just playing for a small market team at the end of the day.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to ask is playing with Westbrook.
No one signed up. No superstar or game changing players signed to play Russell Westbrook. He's going to do the same thing over again next year. He might average triple double. Who are you talking about, Blake?
Yeah, if Blake goes home, Blake go home.
Blake's not going home. He's not. He's going to go a lot of places, but he's not going to Oklahoma.
He'll make more money from endorsements back in LA than going back to OKC. No, he's not going.
It's not.
Yeah, why would you give up
endorsement money? Yeah, well, not even that. Like, why?
He's not on the court long enough to earn the paycheck that he's getting.
True. No, I mean, what do you think? What do you guys think about your Russell Westbrook's, hand in this? I mean, he basically treats everybody like they're Mario Chalmers.
You did not just go there. Oh my God!
Think about it. Think about how Mario Chalmers got yelled at by pretty much everybody in Miami. Like, that's pretty much what he does to everybody on OKC. You get your butt over there and no, don't you rebound, but don't rebound. Look at the ball, but don't you touch the ball. I touch the ball. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way it seems.
I think that's a little extreme, but I agree with your point, but I think it's a little too extreme.
It's because I said Mario Chalmers?
Yeah, I think it's because of Mario Chalmers.
Mario Chalmers. You shouldn't even touch a basketball.
Stephen A. Smith, that pissant. I'm still calling out Stephen A. Smith. Every week I'm calling out Stephen A. Smith. I will join the debate desk and I will put him on blast.
Not, I mean, listen. He's probably the greatest African American coon of our generation. And to see his transformation on First Take from going from an unapologetic black guy to Samuel L. Jackson in the Django.
I was just about to say that. Oh my gosh.
I watch it just to see how he sold out for a paycheck, right? Because at the end of the day, he talks so reckless, and then he airballed them threes with Harden. And then, like, when dudes come to the desk and approach him on some, like, yo, you were talking reckless, and he just slobs them off. Like, he just, oh, be my brother. I don't want to hear all that, fam. Your hairline sucks. You wear a mock neck. Like, no one cares about. You know what's crazy? Shannon Sharp is everything that we wanted Stephen A. Smith to be. That's what Shannon Sharp is, unapologetically black, and it works for Fox. And Fox Sports eventually is going to take over overtake ESPN, because all ESPN doing is being.
It's already starting.
And honestly, I agree. I can't even stand to watch ESPN anymore because the analytics is so terrible that, like, I'd rather watch. I'd rather watch Cohart. I watch, like, all their stuff. They have all the guys because they shoot from a unbiased perspective.
Yes.
Right. And to watch Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman play footsie for 2 hours, I only watch it because, like, I just can't believe this level of cooning goes on, and no one ever calls him out. Like, there's nobody on social media ever goes, like, if I was a big person, I would definitely argue with him every day. I'm like, listen, your hairline sucks, and you wear terrible mock necks, and if I see you, I'm gonna punch you in your mouth. Like, I would just threaten him every day.
Hilarious.
Well, I know what I'm going to be doing after the podcast. Hashtag troll Stephen A. Smith. Thank you very much.
Oh, my God. But moving on, I mean, I know we got two more teams in the West, and we got to move to the East because right now the Cavs are putting a hurt on the poor Celtics for another practice run.
But
the Memphis,
that's going to be the next topic, too, and I think everyone's going to love that topic, Tyler.
Absolutely. The Memphis Grizzlies, I mean, obviously they're getting older and older. The Professor John Gotti, the King of RNG, the Troll Master himself, the legendary hunter over there, the Conqueror.
Oh my gosh!
He doesn't believe that Mike Conley even remotely deserved 80%. Would you say of the money that he received? Would you say he didn't deserve at least? Did he deserve 20% less, or do you think he just deserved not a max contract at all? Not even nowhere near.
He deserved 20% less than what he got.
20% less of what he got. Okay. What do you guys think about that?
I think that Mike Conley is in the situation where, like, if you got a girl pregnant, you don't really have a choice whether or not she's having the baby.
Oh God!
And that was Mike Conley's situation in Memphis. Like, they don't really have a choice. Like, what are you going to do? Not sign him? And you'll not have a point guard. You kind of have to give him whatever he wants because that's the only mid to high level point guard that actually wants to play in Memphis. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you know what, Mike? We're not going to do it. And then he'll go somewhere else for less money. You know what I mean? In spite of you, and then, like, you're not getting anybody. So, like, that's the demise of a small market team. You have to hope that the guys you draft develop well and that they play well. Mike Conley probably shouldn't get 5 years, 150 something million, $53 million, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, he makes like $400 a minute or something retarded. Like, I forgot where it was. Yeah. They had that breakdown, like, Bleacher Report. And it's like when you look at the landscape of the NBA and you go, okay, in the future, there's going to be point guards that are making $40 and $50 million a year. It starts to make sense because when I first saw the contract, when I saw Alan Crabb get 4 for $75,
right,
I cried because I can do what he does. Like, when I saw, like, Enes Kanter get that and he averages 12 and 5, I know right now for half the money I can do that. Like, I can average 12 and 5. That's what you need me to do, coach. I can do that right now at 6'5" on my Barkley. So it hurt my soul. When I seen Dellavedova get 3 years or 4 years for 38, I know he can't beat me one-on-one. Okay, I have so much sauce from Matt Dellavedova one-on-one. He can't beat me, but he makes $13 million a year. I can. He does. This is NBA. You know what I mean? Like, I don't agree with it, but if you're Memphis, what do you do?
Right. I mean, outside of Mike Conley, I mean, you got an aging Marc Gasol. You got, an aging Vince Carter. You got
Vince Carter's not even aging anymore. Vince Carter's just old. That's not.
Yes. He's now the old head, like back in Lincoln Park, who just come out of nowhere and all he does is just shoot threes and just bully ball people the whole time.
Vince Carter in, like, Phoenix was aging. You know what I mean? Like, Vince Carter in Orlando, that was the aging Vince Carter. And Vince Carter is old now. He can still dunk and stuff, but he's just old still.
What about I mean, you got an aging Zach Randolph.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that no
I don't
one
even know
talks
about Randolph because Randolph could still get you 25 a game.
he can.
Yo, but you
Yeah,
know what?
Randall-
The greatest heist this year was Chandler Parsons, who got a 4-year, $95 million deal after like 2 microfracture surgeries.
He's been heisting for a
And
couple
then
years
played,
now.
like,
Yep.
and then played like 19 to 22 minutes a game. And like, yo, no one's talking about it. Like, yo, fam, he got 4 for 95. That's guaranteed. That's not like there's no like we can take that back. Like that's great. I don't know who his agent is, but whoever's agent is deserves agent of the year. I don't know if you have that.
Whoever
players-
his agent is, need to call up the people here at Debates Among Friends, Qmart,
Right.
at Qmart 32. need you to call him like immediately after the show.
All I need is 3 for 18. That's all I'm asking. I'm asking for 3 for 18.
Yeah.
Okay, I can come in, give you a quality 17 minutes. Okay, 10 points, 4 rebounds. I'm gonna take about 2 charges, and I got 6 hard fouls. All right, that's what I got. Okay, because there's too much in the league.
I'm okay
But
with
that's the
that.
thing with a lot of these.
Yeah, for real. Absolutely.
I can at least average 1.5 blocks a game.
All right, so obviously we got one more team. Speaking of 6 hard fouls, the Portland Trail Blazers.
Oh my! I can't believe you just said it like that.
What did I say? I mean, they
6
play.
hard fouls.
I mean, they play like, yeah, that's it. I mean, they're 6 hard fouls away from
The
a series
Trailblazers
being
has a
over.
great backcourt.
They have a great culture.
It's everywhere else that has me worried for them. They need to just get everything else fixed.
They
up,
have good
Mike.
talent. It just hasn't come together.
The only deal that I didn't like, and honestly, it's still not a terrible deal, is the Evan Turner deal they gave him. But if you look at that team, the Nurkic trade really changed the trajectory of the team because he can play, and
He can.
that was more luck that Jokic is it's not so much better than Nurk. Jokic is so much more a controlled player. Like they're both talented guys, and like I said, being a hardcore fantasy basketball player and a big Mike Malone fan, I drafted both those guys on my fantasy team, so I literally watch every game. So I'm a huge Jokic fan. Probably one of my top 3 favorite players. I'll say Kawhi. Probably Jokic is second, to be honest with you. Nurk is probably like in my top 5 to actually watch play.
Okay.
Nurk is a little bit just of a head case, and once he takes the bad decisions out, becomes more efficient in the post, and gets rid of the dumb fouls, the guy can play. Especially in the system where, like, all right, we throw the ball at the elbow, right? He can make a 15-footer. You have to respect that. Now you have Lillard and McCollum coming off flare screens. What do? Pick and pop handoff. There's so much you can do offensively. The problem is that Amino had a bad year. Hark didn't play well to the end of the year. I think they need to get better on the wing, like the 3-4. I think now, let's say they're able to sign some people. I don't know if they can have the cap flexibility. Let's say they get better at power forward. Now you move one of those guys to the bench. Your bench got better. Now you move an Amino or Harkless to the bench. Now you have Harkless, Crab, Evan Turner. Now your bench looks okay. You know what I mean? So for them, it's about growing. I think they had such a good year the year before. The expectations were too high. I saw people have them coming in 4th last year. Yeah, people had them as a top 5 seed. And they kind of, let's be real, they beat the Clippers because everybody got hurt. Like, they didn't beat the Clippers because they're better than them.
Yeah.
So
they beat the Clippers because the Clippers basically did Clippers
they lost
things
their 2
again.
best players. Yeah,
Right.
they lost their 2 best players. Chris Paul broke his hand. Blake hurt him, I think, tore his thigh, whatever. So at the end of the day, they should have been plugged in for a 7 or 8 seed. And everybody mentally had them as a 4 or 5. So it felt like the year was a disappointment. But you look at their roster, you go, okay, they were always a big man away. Now for them, it's about getting a backup point guard and a starting level power forward. If they can get those 2 things, that team becomes very scary because, again, interchangeable pieces. You got Harkless, Alfred Camino, Evan Turner, McCollum. Now you start, that's 4 guys that you can just switch ball screens.
Yep.
True.
You know what I mean? Small. And then again, a guy like Nurk, who is still developing and still can play, all you're asking to do is make smart passes and rebounds. And when that game he had a game where he had against Denver. I think he had 35, 16, 4 blocks. I mean, the guy can play. It's just he needed minutes. And now he got the minutes. I like Portland moving forward in the future. I think they have a great culture and a great GM. I think they'll find a way to become more competitive. I think next year they'll be my surprise team. This year, my dark horse team was Denver. They missed the playoffs by like this much. And I think next year my dark horse team to be a top 4 seed is Portland. Again, I picked Utah to be a 5 seed this year. A lot of people, oh, you're crazy. I said Utah's going to be a 5 seed. They're ready, and they made a run. I think next year is Utah.
Excellent.
I can see that, actually.
Yeah, definitely. If Portland makes the right move, they get that big that they need. I mean, why not? And really just another scoring threat. Because like most people say, which is usually what happened with the Washington Wizards, which we'll get to, is that it was like after John Wall and Bradley Beal, like what the heck, Right. But obviously we do need to start moving on to the Eastern Conference, where
I gotta just jump off. I gotta bounce, but I will talk to you all later. All right, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Senor October, for joining us tonight. Make sure you follow Senor October on Twitter. Give him your Twitter handle, sir.
At JC Urbanist.
Molto bene. Thank you very much, sir. We'll catch you later.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, bud. So, the Cavaliers right now, 40 seconds before halftime, destroying the Celtics. Again, my main thing is fatigue at this point of the season, but these are professionals, so we're not trying to hear these excuses. But 59-34. Going into halftime.
What did you expect?
I expected them to at least have 40 points. At least 40 points.
I think he was being delusional, sir. That's why the name of this segment right now is called Cherry Picking. Because that's what they're doing right now.
Well, I mean, when you think about it right now, all right, so I don't know, Q, if you've heard the Professor John Gotti's claim that the Cavaliers, which he makes a quality argument, solid argument. I believe it actually too. For the first game, I believed it. Everything else is like they have to play and go with the luck of the draw. But the Cleveland Cavaliers tanked, so to speak, at the end of the season to get the number 2 seed, to skip the Bulls and play the Indiana Pacers.
I don't think they tanked. I think they just don't care.
I mean,
I don't think that they tanked, like, because it came down to the last game of the season. Like, it came down to like where I think like the Bulls had to win and so and so. It was like the last game where like if Miami won and so and so lost, so it was no guarantee they were going to play the Bulls, even if they were the 1 seed. I think like when you go to the finals 6 years in a row and you're LeBron, you don't really care. You're like, yo. The years they actually went, remember when we first got to Miami, they weren't the 1 seed. They had to go. They had to go beat the Bulls that year. They beat Boston. They beat Boston. They beat the Bulls. So like, he's comfortable on the road. I mean, like in his past, in the a historic Game 7 versus when he was in Cleveland versus the Boston, like he's okay with it. Even Boston's run, they weren't the number 1 seed. I think it was Detroit. And even after that, when Boston beat them that year to get to the finals, I think Boston was a 4 seed that year because Boston beat them in the second round, and Cleveland was the 1 seed. I think when you have a veteran team, you have guys who've been there before, especially guys that have been there recently. You don't really care about playing in the Garden, especially because you feel like the other team is inferior to you. Like it's not that close. And so I don't think they tanked. I just think they don't care. I think they're like, you know what, we're gonna cruise whatever, we get a top whatever seed, as long as we're as long as we're a top 3 seed, we're good. And even if they were a 4, are you picking against Cleveland? You say Cleveland, so you know what? We're going to drink Heineken and smoke Bud for the whole season. Are you in there at 5 seed? Are you still picking against Cleveland? No. Everybody still has Cleveland coming out the East. So,
not Heineken.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not condoling on people indulging that way. Don't be influenced by Q Mart's words just then.
Anything but Heineken. Oh, God. But no, you're right, though. I mean, you're absolutely right. I just think it just seemed a little funny, especially toward the end of the season. They did lose, maybe not toward the very, very end, but maybe a couple weeks before the season ended, they did lose a few, and people were saying they weren't on the same page and all the crap. I mean, John Gotti can explain it a little better because, I mean, it was just one of those situations where they just didn't seem to be playing, quote-unquote, Cav-like.
I mean, for me, and this is how I'm looking at it, after they demolished Boston, similar to what they're doing tonight, Bazing, they basically had the 1 seed on lock. And from that Boston game on, they played also ran. We all knew that the Cavaliers is going to come into the playoffs guns blazing. I've said that on the show many a times. But for me, one of the things that I noticed, a lot of things that, people on like Bleacher Report and, some of those pissers on ESPN, not Stephen A. Smith, was saying is, Miami and Chicago was giving Cleveland a lot of trouble during the regular season matchups.
Yeah, because they're playing hard, and Cleveland's not playing hard. If probably this, I'm a pretty good basketball player, right? If for a regular person, if I'm playing somebody who's not as good as me, I might not play as hard, right? Like because like there's another level everybody has. Like there's like another next floor. I might be playing, let you shoot some jump shots. You might beat me once or twice, whatever. You're playing your heart out. I'm playing like When I turn that switch on, it's over for you. Nothing you can do. Your girl can't save you. God can't save you. It's me and you on the court, one-on-one. It's over for you. It's going to be very bad. And if anybody who loves you is there, they're going to look at you differently after what I do to you. That's Cleveland. They have another gear. So it's like when they're playing Miami, and Miami's playing, right, if they don't win this game, they're a game behind out the playoffs. Or Chicago, you're playing teams that actually need to win, and you're Cleveland, and let's just keep it real. LeBron, I remember LeBron was here. They had an off night. LeBron flew in here to New York City to party with J.R. Smith and then flew back out to where they were.
I remembered that one.
They're living like a rock star. Like, they're like, yo, we don't really need to win this game. And the Bulls are playing their heart out because the Bulls need to win this game.
Well, and LeBron sat out that game that you're talking about.
But I just think people don't realize when you're an NBA player and you're playing, I'm on my second night of a back-to-back and you were rested last night. I'm on a road trip. You're on a homestand. People forget these parts. Let's just say, for example, let's just take a young team or a Cavs team. The Cavs have a road trip. They're in Atlanta on Monday. They're in Houston on Friday. And then they go to LA on Sunday. How hard do you think they playing?
True.
You know what I mean? Like, Cavs is going out. I'm going to be, you know what I mean? LeBron, these Cavs aren't just staying in the hotel. You know what I mean? Think about a West Coast road trip where you have to go play. So you don't really get excited for certain teams, right? If you're the Cavs, why are you excited to play the Bulls? At one point, they're under 500. Like, you're not excited to play the Bulls. There's nothing exciting about playing the Bulls. You're excited. Like, when you look on the calendar on a Wednesday night and you got to play Miami, how excited are you to play them?
True.
There's nothing excited about playing. So you're getting everybody's best shot because you're the champion. And it comes down to having that switch. Yep. Now, when the playoffs started, we've seen that switch, and they've been beating the dog meat out of everybody for the past month now. Yeah. So I would suffice to say that if they Miami
talked about their last game they played was what? April what?
I'm not too much of a future or a mind reader. But I can almost guarantee the money if they played the Bulls or Miami in the first round, they'd have out of there in 4. It'd have been a broom and a dustpan session for anybody who played in the first round.
I think it would have been a little bit more competitive. I mean, the Pacers after game 2, I mean, it was over. After game 2, it was over. Like, kiss the dog and slap the children. It's over.
Yeah, but I think that the Bulls surprised themselves. When you watch that Bulls-Boston series, okay, Dwayne Wade already had his tickets booked to Cabo. Jimmy Butler was already going to Isabella. Like, they were already ready to go home. They just happened to play a good half of basketball and go, hey, we can actually win this. Because if for 82 games it didn't work,
right,
how does it work now? Right? It's like if you're a C student, you don't become an A student. Like, you know what I mean? If you're just a C- student, you don't become an A student next semester. Who are you cheating off of? You know, like that's what it comes down to. Like, when you look at the game, so I'm not worried about the Cavs. I think, again, the Cavs have another gear that most teams don't have. Mm-hmm. And when you're the champion, you get everybody's best shot. And whoever they play, they were sweeping. You know what I mean? The Pacers have been an obligatory disappointment this year based on how much individual talent they have. But again, that's basketball. It's not about how much talent you have. It's about how much chemistry you have. And that's what makes the dangerous. The Warriors have chemistry and talent. Most great teams with great players only have talent, and that talent loses the chemistry. And that's how the Heat lost to the Mavericks. The Mavericks didn't have a better team that finals year. They had better chemistry.
They had way better chemistry.
You watch everybody knocking down shots. That's camaraderie. Where it's like, I don't care who's making shots. And then you watch a team where you have 3 of the top 10 players, and then a couple other guys.
Mm-hmm.
That series because of chemistry. They didn't have the chemistry that year. So it's like you look at Cleveland. Cleveland's going to the finals, and they're going to the finals every year until LeBron decides to retire. That's just what it's going to be.
Gotcha. All right, so I guess looking into the Eastern Conference now, I guess that is the next segment because this game is practically over. Obviously, we've talked about Boston and the necessary moves that they need to make pending this year's draft. So I guess we can kind of move on to the Washington Wizards.
Yes, let's talk about them because someone on this debate desk mentioned how they were going to be home at a specific date.
Yeah, they trolled you a little bit. They trolled you for a while. I was like, man, that's trolling you.
They definitely teetered with your feelings for a while, Kumar. What was your analysis about what the Wizards was able to do despite your expectations?
I think that they got better. They just can't win on the road. They're a great home team. I think now, if they had got a number 1 seed or even like a top 2 seed, it changes the dynamic and narrative because it shows they play much better at home on the road. The main concern with them and what showed again was no bench.
Right.
They have no bench, and they have guys who can't create their own shot. And that's what makes it difficult because now you're asking John Wall to get guys shots and score 25 and get this and get. So it becomes difficult because during the season, it's easy to get guys shots because you're playing a different team every night. Yes. When you're playing in Game 7 and the other team knows your whole playbook and they know everybody's strengths and weaknesses, it becomes much more difficult to get guys shots. It becomes difficult to get your own shot. It becomes difficult to get a rhythm. I think they didn't do themselves any favors by not going to get more help off the bench during the trade deadline.
Right.
Okay, cool. You got Bogdanovich. That's a shooter, but he still can't create his own shot unless it's a pull-up 3. You got Brandon Jennings, who's a career 32% shooter, whatever terrible percentage he has, right? So he's not too much of an offensive threat. You have Jason Smith, who can only make mid-range jump shots. You have no other playmakers. Go get more guys. And go get a Wilson Chandler. Give up some future stuff to make a run.
Gotcha. Now let me ask you.
Off the bench.
Now let me ask you this, because this came up, and I forget which show I was watching, and somebody said this, but they felt like the Wizards could challenge the Cavs more than the Celtics.
Yeah, definitely. They're more athletic.
I never get that because if they don't have the bench, because I feel like the Celtics have a slightly better bench, not like by much, but with Marcus Smart and Kelly Olynyk coming off the bench, they have some scorers, so to speak. But I feel like after John Wall and Bradley Beal, and a lot of people talk about, I think they have Marcus Morris, or is that Markieff Morris?
Yeah,
Markieff Morris. Solid player. I've always thought he was a good player. I wish we would have kept his brother when we had him, and I wish we would have had both twins in Houston. But things just don't ever work out the way I want them to, which is fine. But
Doctor, you just want everyone though.
I really do. I do. Let's turn the salary cap off and just everybody just go to Houston. No, but it's one of those situations where I'm just trying to figure out why people feel as though the Wizards would be a better matchup than the Celtics.
They fit a better athletic profile. So when you look at the matchups, all right, when you look at Boston, your backcourt is 5'9" and 6'2".
Right.
Like that just in a sense. They play more guys, right? Brad Stevens goes 9 deep on this team. So it's look at game 1. I think it was game 1 when they brought Jaylen Brown in the fourth quarter. He didn't play the whole game.
Yeah.
Right.
Jaylen Brown came in the 3, whatever. So it's the random sporadicness of that kind of platoon versus the fact that if you're the Wizards, you can play Bradley Beal 38 minutes. You can play John Wall 39 minutes. So against a more athletic team like the Cavs, their profile fits better because as a coach, I'd rather play my starters 35 minutes, sneak in Bogdanovich, Brandon Jennings, and maybe Mahimi and Smith, and those guys are athletic and run. When you take LeBron and you take Kyrie off the court for them, they're just a smart basketball team who can shoot. They're basically a low-level Boston.
Gotcha.
If you take Isaiah Thomas off the court, then the Cavs are doing what they're doing to them right now because they don't have anybody who can really create on their own.
That's basically the exact comparison of what happened to OKC.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? When you have those guys like a Wall and Beal, I remember the first round that they both scored like a combined 73 points versus the Hawks in like Game 6 or something like that, Game 5, whatever game it was. That potential. Or for those guys, I mean, Bradley Beal in the closeout game 7, had like 38 or 39 points. If Wall had a bad game, if Wall has a good game, they beat the Celtics.
Right.
But my banking on them not going too far is based on the fact that their bench and their guys will get burned out. And that's the difference. I mean, John Wall's tired. He missed 11 straight shots in the game. That guy's tired. In Game 7, he's done everything. He's carried the team to that point. Fatigue kicks in, and you look at that game. I remember I knew that Boston was going to beat them when I looked in the fourth quarter and Wall and Beal are starting the fourth. Isaiah Thomas comes in with like 8 minutes left, so he's rested for 4 minutes. And what does he do? He goes run by himself because he's rested. So that changes. But if you're talking about a series, Washington gave them way more problems than Boston did because they're more athletic. And the pace of play fits Boston better. I mean, it fits Washington better because Washington wants to get up and down. They want to run. They want to shoot threes. They want to do that stuff. Boston can play different styles of basketball, but the problem is matchup-wise. They don't match up well with the Cavs. The Cavs are too athletic. Who's going to guard LeBron James?
Right.
That's all.
They'll probably have to put Marcus Smart on it, but then he's going to be a foul trouble the whole game.
But not even that. Marcus Smart's 6'3", LeBron 6'8". So that's right. That's the problem. But if you look at Washington, I can throw Markieff Morris on him, 6'10". I can throw Otto Porter, 6'8". I can throw different guys at him. I could throw Beal. I could throw so many different athletic guys on them. Not that it's going to stop LeBron, but just the fact that I can throw those guys on there. So when the Cavs go small, LeBron plays 4, I can still play Markieff Morris. When the Cavs go small versus the Celtics, you have to move Crowder to the 4. Now your lineup is 6'10", 6'6", 6'3", 6'2", 5'9". You're going to get blown out. And that's what's happening.
Gotcha. All right, well, looking at the rest of the teams in the East, obviously, we've spoken briefly about the Toronto Raptors with Kyle Lowry. How did you feel when DeMar DeRozan said we would win 2 if we had LeBron?
I actually gained a lot of respect for Lowry because Larry DeRozan, because he spoke the truth. Any team that LeBron goes to is going to the finals.
Yes.
Or
at least to the conference finals. At the very least. It really depends.
He changes the trajectory of your team.
Yes.
He makes guys better. Again, if you take LeBron, you put him on the Nets, they're in the East Conference Finals right now.
Gotcha.
Makes other guys better. Or instantaneously, Brook Lopez becomes better because Brook Lopez is now shooting a 3-ball. Mm-hmm. He can play. Instantaneously, Brook becomes a 20 and whatever guy. Right? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that LeBron factor is always there. But I think for Toronto, they need to fire Dwayne Casey. So being a huge fantasy basketball buff and watching so much basketball in the NBA package, Dwayne Casey was never a good coach. He was more lucky that the East was bad, and and it's a guard-oriented league, so he had 2 really talented guards. But I can't stand to watch him not play Valanciunas enough, and use to give him post touches. And then you go, and I knew it was bad when they got Ibaka because I knew he couldn't wait to go small. They got Ibaka. PJ Tucker. I knew he couldn't wait to, oh my God, I'm gonna plug Tucker in at the 3 or the 4. I'm gonna play Ibaka at the 5, who's become a declining rebounder and shot blocker in the past 4 to 5 years, who's not the same player he was when he was blocking 5 6 shots and grabbing 14 rebounds. And I can't stand to watch him waste that talent because a guy like Valanciunas, when you use him correctly, slows down other teams. It puts the pressure on them. Get him touches. But it's so guard oriented because his guards don't make plays for other people. Kyle Lowry makes plays here and there, but he gets the old, I'm going to pass the ball to somebody, 3 dribble assist. He doesn't get the I make guys better assist. DeMar DeRozan is an okay-ish to below average 3-point shooter, so everything's mid-range or drive, so he doesn't make plays for anybody else. How many times have you watched DeMar DeRozan go, oh my God, it's a great pass? Can't think of one time. Because all he does is score an empty 20 points. He gets to the line, cool, but it's an empty 25. It's 25 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and maybe a steal. It's so empty, he does nothing else. And now you look at your other players, your 3, DeMar Carroll's been a disappointment. And the rest of the team are just guys. And so their lack of using Valanciunas just really disappoints me. But it's more Dwayne Casey. I read the thing. Oh, I tell him he needs to go get his stuff off the board. No, what you need to do is get that man some post touches, because he's a big man who shoots over 50%, and he's an 82% free throw shooter, means that he actually can get fouls. I'm okay with him being fouled.
This is true.
You know what I mean? And so I'm okay with him being fouled. Like I'm good with that. Because they make free throws, but they refuse to give him touches. I think it messes with his confidence, and he never gets over 30 minutes a game. But the times he has got over 30 minutes a game, he produces. I mean, he gets double-doubles in like 17 minutes. I've watched games where he's played 21 minutes and he has 14 and 13. And then he will sit there whole second half.
That's crazy.
He's a terrible coach. Dwayne Casey is like just below Jason Kidd. Like, watching both them coach that series is like watching two dogs trying to break out of a paper bag. It's like, yo, you don't know who's going to do it first. That was that series. No, there's no coaching move Dwayne Casey's ever made where you go, that was a really good coaching move. They're going to get to the second round and get their doors blown off. He needs to get fired. They need to go get Mark Jackson or a better coach who's going to develop their players, because they haven't developed anybody. Who's gotten better? What young guy? I've watched Norman Powell not get any burn all year long, all because of this weird fixation with DeMar Carroll. He's hurt. He hasn't played well, and every time Norman Carroll plays, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. He just fits better, and they won't play him. And I saw for the lack of me, that team should be a much better team. Mm-hmm. They should finish in the top 2 or 3, and they should be able to win at least 2 games versus Cleveland, because they have diversity. They had the piece. They have, when you have Valanciunas, Ibaka, Norman Carroll, you have these guys that can play. They should be able. You should not be getting swept in the second round. So Uri has to do something. I think Uri has to fire him. He has to go.
Well, to quickly segue from one bad coach to another, let's talk about Milwaukee and Jason Kidd. So I am definitely on board with the fire Jason Kidd bandwagon right now, because the old saying of, even though you're a great coach, great player, doesn't necessarily translate into being a great coach. It really doesn't. I feel like that's what's holding the Milwaukee Bucks back. Just like the Raptors you just got finished talking about. But the Bucks, I mean, they have so many good pieces. They might need maybe a wing to help them out. I mean, I do like Chris Middleton.
They need a lot right now. Mm-hmm. And I say a lot because their younger players are young. So, okay, Thon Maker is 19, 20.
Yep.
Brogdon, to me, can start, but still, he doesn't really scare you. I think he fits better in that Marcus Smart role. Mm-hmm. A guard who could defend 2 to 3 positions, probably the one in the 2, who can come off the bench and play 26, 28 minutes and do a multitude of things for you. I would want to see them go get a better starting point guard. Yes. I mean, Derrick Rose might be a point guard they go get. You know what I mean? And that might fit for them. But I think they need to get better at point guard. They obviously have to stop getting injured. Jabari Parker, the second time he tore his ACL. Mm-hmm. That hurts a lot. You know what I mean? Because you look at that team and go, okay, Jabari Parker, Middleton, Thon Maker, Antetokounmpo, that's just a long, big lineup. Now you go to their bench, because you're not going to win with Tony Snell being your starting 2 guard.
No.
You're not going to win. And you're not going to win when you're forced to play Mike Beasley. And you're not gonna win when your backup point guard Dellavedova. I think Dellavedova is probably more of like a second or third string guy. Probably got a little bit overpaid because it wasn't too much of a market. So I think if they add a reputable 2 or 3, like I would love to see guys Wilson. I think Wilson Chandler. I don't know what his contract like, but I'd love to see guys Wilson Chandler go to the Bucks, because now you have a guy who could play the 2, the 3, the 4, come to the bench who could score. He adds lineup diversity. I would love to see him go get the 2 guard to back up Middleton. So you're not putting these young guys playing 35 minutes a game, mm-hmm. and then they're tired at the end of the season. I think if you get a good bench, they have so much length. Because Greg Monroe off the bench, good, cool, I like it. He comes off, he averages about 15 and 9, whatever he's gonna do, cool. He's in the last year, I think he has an opt-out clause this year. He might be able to opt out. So, yeah. But still, I think they're young, they're long, they're athletic, and they need players that fit that mold. They need to be young, long, and athletic, and so they're probably about 3 or 4 players away in terms of adding to their team. Mm-hmm. I think you get rid of Beasley. Tony Snell could go. unless he's under contract. You know, you start moving pieces. They just need to get better at those complementary pieces. I think your core is there. Obviously, everything's based around Gannis. And obviously, you got to fire Jason Kidd, but he's not getting fired anytime soon. They've made the playoffs like 2 years in a row. So it's hard to fire him. And he can always say, you know what, we didn't go far because Jabari got hurt. And that he can lean on that. So I think like he's there for like another year or two.
I think that's going to hurt them, though.
I
think by the time Giannis becomes a free agent, he's probably not going to play there anymore. Like, they're going to throw as much money as possible, but, you know, they're basically still going to just be a first-round team.
Listen, we got, again, everybody's not in the winning championships.
No.
Okay, so by the time he becomes a free agent, he might be getting 5 years, $232 million stay in Milwaukee. And if he left, he's missing out on $60 million.
For real.
I love basketball, but if you say, Q, you can stay in Milwaukee for an extra $60 million, listen, I'm a Packers fan. Okay? We're getting it. That's the thing, like Chris Paul going to the Spurs is all predicated on what the Clippers offer him. Because if the Clippers go, Chris, we're going to give you 5 years, 204, and the Spurs can only give you 4 for 150, you're not leaving LA and $50 million on the table. You're going to get that bag. What you going to do? And Chris Paul signs that knowing that he probably will never win the championship.
Yep.
But if say he made $200 million, he's probably grossed over $400 million in his career. He's good. You know
I mean, I feel like at that point he should definitely just consider the Spurs, just because he wants to get that championship. He wants to get even further in the playoffs because
it's not
going to happen in LA. It will never happen in LA.
That's only
as long as Doc is still, you know, manning the helm as the coach.
It's perfectly fine, but I said that $50 million. We're not talking about 50,000. We're not talking about 5 million.
Nope.
We're talking about 52 million of them things.
Yeah, sure.
He's not going to care about your criticism, anybody else's criticism about his career, because he'll still be a Hall of Famer, right? And he's going to have an extra 52 million. So at the end of the day, like the way the league is set up right now, and that's because small market teams complained about free agents leaving, you have the thing where you can offer the guy an extra year and a lot more money to stay. But it comes down to the team offering that. Because Dwight walked away from the Lakers.
Yeah.
He missed $20 million to sign with the Rockets, but it was only $20 million. Dwight's already made enough money. He makes money off the court. But so that $20 million didn't hurt as much, whatever he turned down. You're talking $52 million?
Yeah.
He's not going nowhere. Now, if they offer him a 3 or 4 year deal, now the Spurs become interesting because now you're turning down $15-20 million extra to become a Spur. He can live with that. But 50 of them things,
it's hard.
Gannis is going to be a buck for the rest of his career. Trust me, he's not going nowhere.
I agree. Now it looks like we have maybe 1 or 2 more teams here. I feel like we kind of talked about Chicago with Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler and the managing of that team. The other 2 teams that I really don't know what they're going to do. And you mentioned Dwight Howard, so I guess we can start with the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, is his career over?
Dwight?
Yes.
No, it's not over
with
yet.
Yeah, you're not saying you're saying with the Hawks, not in general.
I'm just, I mean, however you want to take it, I guess, because I'm just trying to figure out who else is going to take him.
There's somebody who's going to take it. Like the Knicks would take Dwight Howard. That's
you said the Nets or the Knicks. I just want to make sure. The Knicks.
Easily.
The Knicks. You did say that. You did say Knicks, right? Like the New York Knickerbockers.
That's the home. The Knicks are the official home of all Washington.
Chris, get that mute button ready. Dang it, Doctor.
What I told him last year, I said the Knicks should have picked up Dwight rather than Joakim Noah.
Oh, I totally agree with you, though. I totally agree.
Yeah.
With you.
I don't think that anybody disagrees to that point. I think that Joakim Noah has the same agent as Chandler Parsons, or he has some very disparaging photos of Dolan, and he threatened to put them out if he didn't get the money, if he didn't get 72. Because I still, Joe played 29 games the year before. It's 31 coming off injury plaguedness, and y'all give him. You give him 4 for 72. That's a whole nother conversation. But I think that Dwight's career is not over. I think that Dwight has to be in the right system.
Where does he go next?
know if Atlanta is the right system for Dwight. And again, Dwight's one of those guys where you have to see how the league shakes out, how the draft shakes out, how free agency shakes out before you move him. You can't move him because he might be the missing link to some team.
Right.
So you look across the league, go, all right, well, who needs a big, or who needs this, or who walked in free agency? Like Dwight might be a buck.
He could be
right.
Greg Monroe leaves, you need an athletic guy to block shots to come off the bench, or even an athletic guy to start, and you bring Thonmaker off the bench. He wouldn't be bad as a buck. He's athletic, he can still block shots, and then you have a bunch of young guys who can play minutes. He's not asking them to play 35, actually play 25 minutes. 25 minutes, they get up and down, Gans is throwing alley-oops. Like, that's not a bad place for him. You know what I mean? But you have to see how things shake out. You look at teams and go, okay, let's look across the league and see who kind of is a big man. Washington's not a bad place for him.
True.
Especially with Gortat thinking about leaving.
He's an immediate defensive upgrade from Gortat. And he's a guy who doesn't need post touches. So listen, Dwight, we're going to get up and down and run. John Wall's throwing the alleys. All we need to do is block shots and be a presence in the paint. And again, you go out, you got Ahimi, who was hurt most of the year, but you have him. You go get another big. Now you have a 3-man big rotation. Those guys are playing for 25 minutes a game. You're not asking too much of them. That way, when the playoffs come, you can play Dwight 30 minutes a game. You know what I mean? So in that team, there's not a bad. I mean, Miami's not a bad spot for him as a backup to Whiteside if he's content. Just I want to make some money and be in Miami, just chill. Like you don't know I have no clue what Dwight Howard's mindset is. But like again, you can't play both of them at the same time. But he becomes a Whiteside insurance policy, and he gets to party on stage and get nasty. So that might be intriguing. You don't know what's intriguing. A second coming marriage with Orlando.
True.
You know what I mean? That's bad. That's not a bad thing because they clearly don't want Vujacic. He can't defend. They want to get up and down a little bit. So there's places where he could land. It becomes now talking about what are you trading for him? What are you getting in return? Are you just selling him? I think Atlanta has a lot of questions because they're locked into Schroeder. They gave him the deal.
Right.
Bazemore got a deal.
Yep.
Which is
do a Paul Millsap. He's aging, going to be 32, I think.
Right.
He's not the player he was.
Right.
Now, what do you do there? You obviously have to get better at small forward. I like Torian Prince. I like some of your young guys, but it's clear you have holes in your team, your bench. It comes down to whether or not they want to blow their team up.
Right.
And, if they do, then, hey, Dwight's out of here. And you can find a team somewhere in the East or the West Conference, take them. When you find somebody from Millsap. Millsap back to Utah is not a bad idea.
Right.
Where you back to Utah, you get a Derek Favors, maybe another young guy from Utah, maybe a pick. And now, I'll take Derek Favors as my center. A little bit more skilled version. He's from Atlanta, too, as well. He went to Georgia Tech. Millsap to go back to Utah. He could play the 4 beside Gobert. So that way, because Gobert and Favors take up the same spot on the court. They both are low post guys. So now you take Millsap, he stretches the floor. So that is to say you're able to keep Hayward. Now you got Millsap, Hayward, Hood. You kind of got something there. You got a bunch of stretch guys. You got a guy like Gort. You have a guy like Gobert who can rebound and run the floor. So it all depends on what way you're going.
I think if Utah can manage to get Millsap from Atlanta, I think that's a great selling point to try to get Hayward to stay. I think that's a great selling point for them. Solid.
So that's not a bad deal because, again, you're going to have to pay somebody. I think Favors' deal's coming up, or you're going to have to pay him in a couple of years, something like that. But, like, if you're going to sell Dwight to somebody for the low, you might as well trade Millsap, go get some young guys, and then you can piece it together and play your young guys. It just depends. As a Spurs fan, I would love Millsap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a versatile guy. I don't think we would have to give up much to get him, maybe a first-round pick or something, and then pay. I'm sure he'll be willing to take a pay cut because he wants to win. Again, I'm looking for guys who are versatile who want to win for my team. I think that makes sense. But I think Atlanta, the one thing that holds them back is obviously their fan base. They're kind of like the Nets of the South. Like they have their years where they're good, but like nobody cares. But there's options there. I think this is a little bit brighter than what people perceive it to be.
Absolutely. And I guess the last team would be the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, they're gonna suck for the next 10 years.
Oh God. They do have the young core center of the future, it seems like. But everybody else is kind of in question. Bringing Lance Stevenson kind of blew up in their face.
No, the Atlanta was actually good. Atlanta, for some reason, I don't know if that's like the only place he plays good basketball at.
I think it's the only place he plays good basketball at. It's literally the only place he can.
I have no clue why, but he just works in Indiana. It comes down to Paul George. He clearly wants to leave, right?
Yes.
Right.
He's out of there. What can we get back for him? Because now you're looking at the team, you go, okay, you got Monta Ellis. You got Al Jeff. I think he signed a 2-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Young, Miles Turner, Jeff Teague signed that. I think Jeff Teague signed the extension, then they traded him. I don't know. I think
Thaddeus Young.
I think if I'm Indiana, I'm just having a wholesale fire. Like I'm just Jeff, I'm shopping Teague, I'm shopping Thad, I'm shopping anybody who is not Miles Turner. Miles Turner is the only person who's not available. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go into sell mode and see them make a couple trades on draft night. Now that Bird's gone and Pritchard's the guy. Pritchard's the same guy who kind of helped create Trailblazers in before Ashley came in. He was a GM in the Trailblazers, and he was actually a pretty good GM. I think that it clearly doesn't work. You have a bunch of guys who are individually talented, but their skill sets don't complement each other, and you have a guy in Paul George who wants to leave. The Lakers obviously are an option, but I don't want D'Angelo Russell.
Right.
Okay, Boston's the option, but still, if you get Fultz, you still have to, you still have to deal with the other guys. I don't know what they're going to do. I think they have a lot of options. I think now in this draft process, you're going to hear a lot of rumblings. I think we'll find out draft night what they do. I wouldn't be surprised if they traded for the first pick. And it's crazy and it sounds wild. Paul George to Philadelphia is not a bad deal.
I think I've said that in the past.
He did say that.
I don't think it becomes this and this is the problem we have with athletes now. We've now acquiesced ourselves to giving athletes everything they want, so everybody gets their way. And so Paul George could be strict on, I just want to be in Los Angeles. I'm from Los Angeles. You don't know what's going on in his mind, but a Paul George to Philadelphia for one of the young guys, whether it's Saric or Okafor, and the third pick, and maybe some other complimentary guys, or even like Okafor, Covington, and the third pick, whatever. Now you got, and then you make another. But it comes a game of musical chairs. It's hard to depict what's going to happen.
Well, what about Brooklyn? They can actually trade away their other 2 first-round picks. They got 3.
That's true.
No. They don't have 3. They have 2.
They got 2.
They could definitely.
They could.
I don't think Brooklyn's an option for Paul George because I think if that deal were to happen, it would have to happen because free agency happens before the draft. Like you can't sell Paul George and want to come to Brooklyn without having to sell him on who you're getting in free agency.
True.
Because at the end of the day, he's going to go where he wants to go, or he's going to threaten to go where he wants to go. But I think they have a good opportunity to blow everything up because Thad Young could go somewhere. Thad Young to a team that is a contender is a piece. Thad Young to a team that's looking for a power. Thad Young to Miami is not a bad deal.
I've always wanted Thaddeus Young on the Rockets. Not as hey, I want everybody. Not like
he's doing
when
it
he
again,
was coming from Philadelphia, like before we got the people.
He can play.
I wanted him before.
Again, you're gonna have to obviously probably Monta Ellis. I don't know what his contract's like, but you might have to eat that until he's done. Jeff T. You have a semblance of pieces there, but it's if we're selling, you want to at least sell to teams that need stuff. I wouldn't be mad at that to Washington or something like that, which helps him come off the bench. Now you have a backup power forward who's flexible.
Right.
But I don't know how much Pritchard values him. I don't know if when teams ask, they would ask him for a first, something crazy I have no clue. But there's pieces there. Just find how you guys are going to blow this thing up and get assets.
Monte still got 2 more years on his contract for 23 combined.
Yeah, so pretty much. You can move him to a contender as a backup shooting guard, even a starting shooting guard.
True.
Yep. You can move him back somewhere where they might. He might fit well back in Dallas.
True. They need everything too. That's a team.
They need a lot of stuff.
I guess that's something that we could do within the next coming weeks is the state of the other teams that didn't make the playoffs.
You look at your backcourt, and your backcourt consists of Seth Curry, Yogi Farrell, and Jose Barea. I think that Monte is a bit of an upgrade there. if they're trying to make the play. I mean, Dirk is in his final years. If you're trying to make the playoffs, bringing Monta Ellis back isn't a bad idea.
Absolutely.
See, because you probably get him for so much cheap. You know, so it's not. They have. I think their future is a little bit bright. They're probably like the next version of Philadelphia in the sense that they're gonna have to blow everything up and just lose for like 5 or 10 years and be terrible before they be good again.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I mean, I guess we're out of teams here, and we're actually coming towards our final thoughts. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
I think we're gonna see a lot of trades during the draft. I think there's gonna be a lot of trades, a lot of movement this draft. And like I said earlier, my dark horse next year for a top 4 seed is Portland. I love Nurk. Nurk is my guy. I'll be drafting them this year in fantasy basketball as I always do every year.
I like it.
And Jokic will be an all-star next year. That's my second favorite player after Kawhi.
Doctor?
Honestly, I think going away from basketball for just 1 second, I found it to be interesting that Giselle came out and said that Tom Brady had some concussions last year. I thought that was actually pretty interesting, and the NFL tried to deny it. I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out, but because, of course, you know, those Patriots always doing something funny, as most people would say.
This is very random and off topic, but I'm going to throw this out there too. Kenny Omega will be in the Royal Rumble next year. Just throwing it out there.
Uh-oh.
Just putting it out there.
I can see him doing that. It depends. I think he signed one more year deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
It ends the 31st. I think it ends this year. Like it ends at the end of the year.
Yep.
Like the 31st. So I can. That's a random wrestling tidbit, but that's my favorite.
Adam Cole's joining NXT.
Yeah, but that's my favorite wrestler right now. So he doesn't need to be in NXT. He needs to jump straight to the main roster. He's a bigger version of AJ Styles.
And guess what? He fits the age range for the WWE. You'll be, I guess, 34 by that time.
He'll be 34 around that time.
So that's perfect.
He's you know what's funny? The back and forth between them and the New Day was hilarious. Like last year when they kept on like subbing each other back and forth, and then they end up playing video games like the Comic-Con thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? Like I that's my random tidbit. I think he'll be in the Royal Rumble next year. He should have been in it this year, but I get why he wasn't.
So I guess it's probably why we're not seeing any Jay Lethal. He has a couple more years before he can join the WWE.
Yeah, he's still with Ring of Honor for I think 3 more years.
No, it has nothing to do with Ring of Honor. He's only 32. He needs to be at least 34 years old.
Oh, I see what you did there.
big shout out to my guy Marty Skrull.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, did you have a chance to watch that too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Skrull, what a great reveal, and even just the build up on their actual YouTube channel too. Like it was just awesome.
Did you see the thing about the food poisoning?
Yes.
And they didn't know who it was, whether it was Marty or whether it was Adam, and they figured out it was Adam.
And they just planned it all out, and they said, you know what, we're gonna do this in New York. I have a plan. Man, that was awesome though. Shout outs to Bullet Club. Too sweet.
Yeah.
But Prof, your final thoughts?
My final thoughts. I want to give a shout out. Can I give a shout out real quick?
Please.
I want to give a shout out to Cali Tech News. The person who owns it is also another St. Peter's alumni. It's just alumni night for us. He does tech news information. He does reviews for games, movies. He has a podcast as well too, so be sure to check it out on calitexnews.com. He has an event coming up on the 2nd of June called Game Crunch out in New York City, where if you're a fan of esports and video games, you could play Tekken 7, Overwatch, or NBA 2K. Space is definitely limited, first come first serve basis. We will put the website out on the Debates Among Friends page and on our Twitter. So if you enjoy video games, definitely check them out. I will not be there because work. Dang it. But just wanted to give him a shout out with that. And also coming up still is CEO out in Orlando, California, Orlando, Florida. Yeah. And of course, Evolution 2017 in July. So that's my final thoughts. Just a shout out to Cali Tech News.
Sweet.
But ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's episode of Debates Among Friends. We're going to leave you off with a track by one of the doctor's favorite artists that he started to listen to. Kenji is one of his new tracks from his newest album that just came out last month called Settling In. The track is called Blessed, featuring an artist also named Blessed. And once again, you can follow Debates Among Friends on Twitter at Debates Among Fur. You can follow the Professor John Gotti at Ken86.
And Doc Ocean at TLW. I can't believe you said Fred. It's so terrible. It's so terrible. I can't believe you just did that.
And QMark, could you let them know your Twitter handle?
Yes, it's QMart32.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow us on Facebook. You can also enjoy the rest of the other podcast episodes on YouTube. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell to get the notifications whenever we put out new stuff. We also do Gotti reviews, where I reviewed certain products and services for you, the people. And be sure to look at our Twitch channel as well too, twitch.tv/debatesamongfriends. And be sure to catch us next week, same debate time, same debate channel. Peace and love.
Deuces.
Yeah, alarm buzzing, I think it's time that I wake up. Singing in the shower while my girl doesn't make up. Kiss on the cheek while I wish her a good day. She handed me my iPod and said, damn, I love you, babe. Popped in my headphones and started my walk. I would've went for a drive, but my whip's in the shop. Look at the clock, 7:45. Looks like I'm running late again. Always trying my luck, but you gotta play to win. I really need one, fighting these demons. Be prepared, life changes like the seasons. I adapt to rap schemes and flash things that I got from music, plus all the problems that cash brings. That's expected when you're trying to be great. Just know I give it my all, I know that y'all can relate. I feel the weight, but I just keep pushing. Music is here to help me like a good woman. See, I could never do none of this on my own. Glad that I found a place that I could call home, a comfy bed that I could fall on. Keep dreaming until the day that they come true. Live and learn, enjoy the life that you go through. Never worry, cause you know that I'm blessed. Keep my head up cause you know that I'm blessed. Moving forward cause you know that I'm blessed. Spread the love cause you know that I'm blessed. No matter the test, you know that I'ma give it my best. Come on, never worry cause you know that I'm blessed. Keep my head up cause you know that I'm blessed. Moving forward cause you know that I'm blessed. Spreading love cause you know that I'm blessed. No matter the test, you know that I'ma give it my best. Come on, you know what they say, good things take time. Seems we always in a rush but never open our eyes to see things grow, take things slow. Young boy exploring the world to be home before them street lights show. Been on the road since them old days. Can't be serving up rhymes like a buffet. Staying humble because that's how I was raised. Finding ways that was different. That ain't the hard part, it's staying consistent. But damn, life seems to catch me in a bad place. But I'll wait till my spirit starts to levitate. We reach for the peak, trying to find something new. Finally off of work, time to do what I do. Locked in the stew, relieving all my stress in the booth. Shit never gets old, I just love coming home to you. This love in my heart is something I wanna pass to you. The flame lives on, I'll be here when all else is gone. Yeah, cause fam is real, the bond is still. You know my team keep it vintage like a Coupe de Ville. Feels great that I finally found a place of my own. Kick my feet up, can't do no wrong, as long as I'm home. Never worry cause you know that I'm blessed. Keep my head up cause you know that I'm blessed. Moving forward cause you know that I'm blessed. Spread the love cause you know that I'm blessed. No matter the test, you know that I'ma give it my best. Come on, never worry cause you know that I'm blessed. Keep my head up cause you know that I'm blessed. Moving forward cause you know that I'm blessed. Spread the love cause you know that I'm blessed. No matter the test, you know that I'ma give it my best. Come on.